Welcome to Tonight Live. We got a great show today. Hopefully, everybody had a great weekend. I know we did. It's going to be a good show. We're fired up today. We've got a great group of guests. We got a good friend of ours, Stephen Hagenbuckle, is here from Good Intentions Band and also founder of Live Fest. So welcome. We're going to get him in here in a minute. We got, obviously, the one and only Patrick Gira. He had a great weekend. Then we're also going to have Dr. Drew Montez Clark. He is a physician in town, chiropractor in town, physician, and he's also running for District 82 rep. He's going to be very interesting, going to have a lot of good stuff for us as far as our Make America Healthy Again. And then we also have the one and only Lauren Rossi. She is a luxury realtor here in our great Collier County, and she does a lot of things, and she's also the editor of Naples City Lifestyle magazine. So, hey, Patrick, welcome. Stephen, welcome.
Morning, Tim.
Look at you guys.
Happy Monday.
You guys are all bright. Bushy-tailed, ready to go.
Let's go.
It's awesome. So, yeah, welcome, Pat.
We're excited.
Steve.
Got a big show today. Mega Monday. Not one, not two, but three big guests. We're going to have some fun today.
Yeah, we got to get some people on. We're already filling it up pretty quick.
Joe Pavich in the house.
JT there, Joe Pavich, and better known as sometimes the AI likes to call him Joe Cabbage.
Joe Cabbage is making that cabbage. Another open house for Joe yesterday.
Yeah,
he's working
big
it.
Big day. Mega Monday. We got that out there. So, yeah. What else going on, Pat?
Busy weekend, as always. Yeah, we were live at the mini bar on Saturday for the Kentucky Derby. Had a lot of fun. Thank you for Chris Shukart and the team for having us there. Had some great guests on. You can check that out on 239live.com or YouTube. And love doing the live events. A little challenging, and you always run into some little hiccups along the way, but it was a lot of fun. And my daughter got a chance to be a part of it and even won a silent auction. So she had a great weekend.
Yeah, that's good. So, yeah, we got to interview a lot of people. We're going to be running clips on that. Just a great event. And obviously, who doesn't like the Kentucky Derby with all the fashion, the hats, so much going on. So, yeah, it was great.
You didn't wear your hat, Tim.
I know. I didn't wear one.
Your wife
didn't
had
make one. The wife had one.
She
So
had
that was
nice
good.
one. She was rocking it. Yeah.
That was good. So, so want to
absolutely
bring Steve on
needs
on
no
board.
introduction, but lead singer, Good Intentions Band, a little band that you may have heard of in town. Also, Live Fest, which is a very a little concert that you guys put on in the winter time, which is absolutely grown to a huge event here. And great guy. And before we bring you on, you hit us with an interesting stat this morning when you rolled into the studio in your pickup truck with your Gator plate. What was that stat?
I believe it's 16 years in a row that the University of Florida has won some national championship.
In some
sport,
kind of
whether it's golf or
Every
track
year.
or swimming.
That's interesting.
Or basketball, or 16 straight years, yeah. And they also sent 40 athletes to the Olympics, which is more than some countries.
That's
Right?
crazy.
It was 40 Gators at the Olympics.
Crazy.
Wow.
So
My daughter's a Gator, so I'm obviously a big.
Good law school too, from what I heard.
yeah,
She got her business degree there and got her master's there too, and we're proud of her. She's living in New York City now.
Absolutely.
It's a good school.
Go
I'm
Gators.
very connected to it. I went to school there, but I sit on the foundation board.
Okay.
So I'm
What-
pretty active up there.
What year graduated?
85.
85. Okay.
Year I graduated high school, by the way.
There you go.
But yes,
I'm trying to think.
What are you
They
trying,
were
what are you trying
really-
to tell me?
no, you look good.
They-
You look
they-
good. I could only wish to be in good shape. But yeah, so they're it's a tough school to get into.
It's getting
It's
tougher
tough,
every
yeah.
year. All
Yeah.
the schools.
It's
Florida State, for example, has gotten a lot tougher to get into. It's really, a lot of the schools. I think what happens is when a school eclipses a ranking of top 10, then a lot of people just apply because it's a top 10 school.
Right.
So they get a flood. Like they get right now 95,000 applicants, and they allow in like 7,500. I mean, it's
Yeah, it's just
it's
in
tough to get into.
Yeah, tough.
And talk to us a little bit, Steve, about obviously you got the Good Intentions Band
Yeah.
that you're a part of. You got the Live Fest, you see all over town. and you got some good rock and roll stories. I know you were close with Tom Petty,
Yep.
Gainesville native, right?
Yes, sir.
So kind of delve into how you got into music and how you got into Naples.
Well, we moved to this. I was born in Florida, so Central Florida, born in Sanford, Florida, which is outside of Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
We moved down to Southwest Florida, Marco Island, 1979.
Get out of here. What was what was Marco Island like in 1979? Was there like maybe one restaurant and
I think there was like 5 houses and 1 restaurant.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
no, but I would say that it was probably maybe only 35 to 40% developed.
Yeah.
So if you think about all that land and all those canals that the Mackle brothers put in, right? Deltona, the Mackle brothers, there wasn't a lot going on. So, we had to get creative, to find fun things to do. And the guys that were in town were a very close-knit group of guys. There was only about 12 to 15 of us from Marco Island that actually went to high school. And we had to commute all the way to Lely High School.
You went to Lely High School?
Yeah.
Great.
So,
Greatest high school in Collier County history. Lely High School, baby.
It definitely has a history. But yeah, so that's how we got.
I knew
down
I
here.
liked you, Steve.
Yeah. Did you go to Lely?
Absolutely.
That's my man.
We are Lely.
Go Trojans.
Yes, sir.
Bangor High School. Way up in Maine.
So yeah, that's how we got down here. And from there, as we just discussed, I went to UF, but I've been playing in and out of bands since I was like 13 years old, more off than on, just because of my professional career, which is really managing private equity, commercial real estate for institutional investors like pension plans, college endowments like UF, union funds, so public pensions, union funds, high net worth investors, and the company is called TerraCap Management. And we manage properties, do investments all around the country, predominantly in the Sun Belt, so Florida, up the Carolinas, over to Texas, over to Arizona, multifamily, industrial, some office, products like that. We've done hotels, things of that nature.
So mixed in with your fun, you got some real business going on.
Yeah. Actually, I'm a serious professional, believe it or not. It's hard to believe. Yeah. So
I used to be. Now I'm not so serious. I used to be that way. But
yeah. So that's my, my core passion. But I've always loved music. Always been around it. Like I said, started as
Who were some of your influences growing up?
Oh well, I would say going back in time, it'd be like bands like the Cars, Van Halen, certainly, the Beach Boys, big variety, but the roots all kind of went back to classic rock and roll.
Yeah.
And then, I went into college and I worked security. I was a bouncer in bars all through college. That's how I helped fund, my education. And I worked in a brand new big venue called the Islands. And the Islands was the largest live music venue at the time in the southeastern United States. It held 2,500 people. And so for a live music venue, that's pretty big.
Sure.
I mean, a full bar, multiple bars and live music. And we had the latest and greatest. And everything back then was interesting because they were just coming out with MTV videos, right? And so we didn't have a DJ. We had a formal VJ that had a VJ booth, and it was like state of the art.
Yeah.
So we had these big screens with the projectors, and no one was doing it. And so it was a hot place. And so whenever the entertainers would come into town.
Was that in Gainesville?
It was in Gainesville, University of Florida. So Petty.
It's a city in Florida, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding, really. you don't have to worry about going there, Patrick.
You're way beyond that. You're already successful. So
about that.
That was nice. That was a nice. I dug him, and he brought him back up.
Comes up here, team player, man. That's right.
Lely, baby.
Yeah.
Speaking of Stephanie,
no,
Stephanie Norton.
Hanging, aren't you?
Those roots are deep, man.
No, I saw Stephanie Norton's Go Trojans. Lely in the house,
Oh, there
baby.
you go. All right, Stephanie. Good to have you on, Stephanie. I love Stephanie. She does so much for people.
Yeah. So back to what you were saying. So Tom Petty's from Gainesville. In the late 70s, like 76, 77, those guys went out to try to make it in LA, but they would come back to Gainesville every 3 to 6 months, and they'd come into our club and we'd hang out. And it was funny. There were times when Stan Lynch and Mike Campbell, the lead guitarist, and Stan's a drummer, they would invite me to go water skiing with them, right? And I would tell them no. Here I'm a 20-year-old, and they'd say, why no? And I'm like, because I have to study. And I look back on it, I was like, what an idiot. I should have been going to water skiing with them every single day. And who knows, maybe I could have played with them at some point. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Funny.
Tom Petty, man. There's probably not a cooler experience when you go up to the swamp and then Tom Petty music gets played.
Yeah, what's the one song?
I Won't Back Down.
Yeah,
we play that.
Yeah.
Man, just it gives you goosebumps when you go.
Won't back down. No, I won't back down.
Awesome.
Well, you can stand me up at the gates of hell, and I won't back down.
Love it.
I won't back down.
Yeah, I can't. I won't even attempt it.
Good timing over there, Tim. Wow.
Baby.
What was the first ever video played on MTV?
That I don't know.
No?
Whipping Good.
Nope. Video Killed the Radio.
Oh, there you
Our
go.
first
Maybe
ever
that's
video
it.
played
Oh,
on
really?
MTV. Yeah.
How appropriate.
Yeah.
Devo.
Yeah.
Right. You remember that band Devo?
I remember the band. Yeah.
It was like all those songs used to play over
I
and
saw
over.
Devo
You
in
didn't have-
like 84 in Gainesville at the O'Connell Center.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You've probably seen pretty much
Yeah.
every act and band known
Yeah.
to mankind, I imagine.
What?
Let me
A
ask you
lot.
this. I won't ask you to name one, but a couple bands or artists that absolutely stood out to you in concert. You said, it's an unbelievable show.
Foo Fighters.
Okay.
Really?
I know
Yeah.
you like the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, we play some Foo
I know you do.
Fighters.
Yeah.
Foo Fighters are amazing. Coldplay's
Yeah.
amazing. Maroon 5
Okay.
does a good
I've seen
job.
them.
Yeah.
About like some older bands that you saw back in the day. That
Oh.
This was an unbelievable show.
I would say Molly Hatchet, Leonard Skinner,
Mhm.
Greg Allman Band.
Okay.
You've heard
Is there
that
one?
story.
Is there a band or artist that you didn't get to see play live? You wish you had. You know, obviously passed away or is no longer.
Yeah,
touring?
yeah. Jim Morrison and the Doors.
Okay.
I'd love to see Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
I saw his grave in Paris, which was interesting. It was just like, I don't know, maybe 20 years after he passed, and it looked like he just passed yesterday with the amount of people there worshiping his grave. And
Really?
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, literally, it was like this happened so long ago, and why are so many people still? It was just he just had that big of a mark on people, and people literally like living around his grave, like they live there.
It's
Yeah,
amazing, fascinating how people
Yeah.
dive into that stuff. Big ones for me was obviously I used to have this obsession, obviously, with drawing, Kiss.
yeah.
All the faces and all the different things. And then in high school, Van Halen was a big one. And Patrick, high school for you? What was like old schoolers music?
Well, I guess old school. I'm more like Motley Crue and Def Leppard. And,
Oh, yeah,
it's
awesome.
more.
All good stuff.
My
See, I never
style,
saw
yeah.
them, but I would have loved to.
Oh,
see
Motley Crue's great. I actually saw Motley Crue play at. I don't know if it was Germain Arena at the time or what was it before Germain? What was the?
It was well, it's Hurts now.
It's Hurts now, but then
and
it was
Tico.
originally
them.
Tico.
Yeah, I think when it was still Tico Arena. Yeah, I've seen Motley Crue in Prague and Tico and Miami and Tampa. I think they put on a great show.
Have you heard of Steel Panther?
I've heard of them. Yeah.
So they're an amazing like flashback, throwback, but very talented current band that mirrors the image of Motley Crue and those guys.
Like an 80s glam band,
Yeah,
basically.
just unbelievable.
With a name like Steel Panther. Sounds like a cologne and Anchorman or
Yeah.
something, but
It does. That was well put, well said.
Yeah. So what do we have coming up? I know you play. I know you're probably not going to let the cat out of the bag today, but Live Fest, is that going to happen again this year?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's getting
live,
bigger and bigger.
it gets bigger every
How
year.
many people were at Live Fest this past go around?
So the politically correct answer is right up to the permit
Capa-
amount that's allowed by the by the county.
There's a certain fire commissioner. I know
Yeah.
that's a fan
Yeah,
of Live
yeah.
Fest too. So.
There you go. But yeah, it's let's just say it's 10,000 or more.
Mhm. Which is for Naples. I mean, that's
It's the largest outdoor
Yeah,
event
it's
in
gotta
one
be.
place at one time where
Mhm.
people aren't necessarily, running. Like the car show is a big thing, but that's all day event and people just meandering
Right,
around
right.
cars, which is it's a great event. Don't get me wrong, but It's the largest event in Naples at one, and it's got a great backdrop. It's at the Ritz-Carlton Tiburon.
Not bad.
It's in the middle of the Grant Thornton Invitational, which is the first PGA LPGA pairing event ever.
Weather's usually perfect because you got it in the wintertime.
Yeah, it's December, and as we know, that's the least rain. Although we haven't been getting a lot of rain, as we know, but it's the least rain month in the year. It averages about 1.7 inches only in December, so that's the time to do it if you're going to do it.
Yeah,
roll the dice on
and
that.
Not too hot. Yeah. And you had the Goo Goo Dolls this past Live Fest.
Yep,
that's awesome.
We had Johnny and Robbie were there.
Yeah,
they're amazing and they're really good people. And the next morning, I was talking to Johnny Resnick before the event. We had a little meet and greet. There was only like 6 people invited to it. I was inviting him over to the house after the event to come over and hang out for a little bit. And I was going to have probably would have invited you guys if I'd have bumped into you. But he couldn't go. And the reason he couldn't go, which was fantastic, and you can appreciate this with a young daughter, he was leaving at 8 a.m. out of Miami to fly to Helsinki to spend the night with his daughter in one of those igloos with the glass ceiling to watch the Northern Lights.
Wow.
He's like, Steve, I'd love to come over, but this is what I got to do. I'm like, dude, that's priceless.
That's something pretty cool.
Yeah, speaking of which, Steve was kind enough to bring on my daughter and her cousin at Sugar Shack live on stage and jam out to a song. So that was really cool. I appreciate that. And I know she did too.
Yeah, she still talks about it.
Yeah,
she's still
bragged about it.
It was so cool.
Yeah,
Sugar Shack, that place is amazing, right?
That place is awesome.
It is.
Shout out to Gary.
I mean, you've played a lot of places, right? But they say that the acoustics and the sound and the equipment they have is just like amazing to play at.
It's like
and the natural evolution of that whole thing and those guys is fantastic. I mean, Eddie Kopp, you got Spencer, you got Arian, you got Justin, you got
Tag them,
Eric.
They jump in a lot.
Well, the thing is they're all musicians themselves, anyhow. Okay, in their own right, and they actually have been doing all the video production, all the photography, all the drone work for the Grant Thornton Invitational, which used to be the QBE Shootout, which prior to that was the Shark Shootout. It's all Greg Norman started all that. Yep. But they do all the photography, all the video work, and then they produce our little short videos and everything. And they've been doing that for us for 6 years, 7 years now. I know the guys really, really well. And so it's such a natural evolution for them. And then they had Sugar Shack Sessions, which now has, I don't know what it is, but it's got to be between 800,000 and 1 million subscribers to Sugar Shack Sessions, and they started that 11 years ago.
They got big following.
Amazing video. Yeah. Hey, shout out to Chickabee's on Kevin. Welcome,
morning, Kevin.
And then obviously Stephanie. Thank you. Lewis is up there, and Corey. We got Robert Burke from out of town.
My mom.
JT. Yep. Joe, your mom.
Hi, Mom.
Stephanie.
It's always good when my mom usually jumps on, so it's always good to have them. But yeah, so that venue. Like you said, the evolution of what it's come around to. I mean, we were up there. I was up there the other night, and it was packed. It was great, and I think it's so good for Bonita.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just there's more to it than just music up there playing. It just brings a lot of cool.
They dropped it right in Main and Main.
Yeah,
it's fantastic, and the guys who run the concessions there, also. Gordy and Gary, I know them very well. Good guys.
Gary's a great guy. Both of them, but special shout out to Gary.
I got a shout out to your daughter. She had some good dance moves up there.
What she got going, it's funny because she's not shy, but she wanted to go on stage so bad, and she did, and then kind of a little bit of a deer in headlights. But once she got going, well, she takes dance, so she loves showing off her dance moves.
Yeah, there's video really footage that proves
there is. Yeah.
Video footage, and you can tell her because that night. They had a bigger than usual crowd, and they had right around 1,000 people.
It's because you were there. Good intentions.
It does make a big difference, obviously, who's playing. Let's talk a little bit about this this cover here. Look at you, man. Dapper.
Yeah,
looking
always
good,
dapper.
looking fresh.
Thank you.
Looking fresh.
You've been on a few covers.
Right, yeah, I have. That's Naples Illustrated. That was September's issue last year before Live Fest, and they're great people over there at Naples Illustrated, but I would give a special shout out to Gayleen Salomons. She was the writer and she's an editor over there. and she is an amazing person, amazing human being, an amazing writer. She did a great job. Yeah, so a lot of respect.
It's a great magazine.
It looks great.
Been around a long time.
Yeah, and then we got another little picture of the band. We'll pop up here too.
The band
looking good.
Oh, there we are.
All right, let's go from right to left.
Okay,
Ricky Haas.
Ricky Haas. He is a sound man extraordinaire. He's also
Ricky. I didn't know he did the sound stuff. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh, and he's
talented. Let me tag Ricky too.
We need Ricky come in here and run the board over here.
So he was on our. Yeah, I know. Yeah. He was on our live and he sang a cappella to Shaggy.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's very talented, and he used to perform and tour with a band, and some of the guys from that band he still works with is Rock Republic.
Yeah,
and they're fantastic. They're fantastic. They're awesome. Fantastic. So Ricky does their sound, and he does our sound as well. And
I didn't know that.
And sells real estate on the side.
Yeah, he sells a lot. He's doing good. Yeah,
he's very talented. Yeah, he's crushing it.
Yeah, good guy.
Okay, we got Ricky Haas, who's on the left of Ricky.
So that is that's Blake Owen, and Blake Owen is our drummer and also a fantastic singer. So Blake sings probably anywhere between 6 and 8 songs typically, but he's an amazing drummer. So
best singer drummer combo all time, because Phil Collins comes to mind. Who am I thinking of? The Eagles. Who was the drummer for the Eagles? Because he sang.
But I do know Blake Owen.
Yeah,
and Amy, his wife.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Leadership Collier. Yeah,
okay.
They're great.
I know Blake Becker.
Blake Becker. No, but Blake Owen. But that picture's a little bit hard to see him because he kind of got his head tilted down.
Yeah, no, he's fun.
Yeah, he's
good guy. Amy, they're great energy.
Yeah.
I don't know the guy next to him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, who's that
guy? Never heard of him.
Wow.
Random guy that they let in the picture. Tallest guy in the pic.
Yeah, or at least the one with the best posture.
Yeah.
Right now. But so next to me there, that's Steve Mastrangelo.
Okay.
And he is also, he's an amazing musician, a great bass player, and he plays with multiple bands around town. So we're fortunate. He plays with us all the time when we play, but he's a busy guy, and he is so talented. He gives instruction to people both on bass and guitar, but he's just an amazing musician. And then to his right, that is Mike Parsons, the fantastic lead guitarist of Good Intentions Band. He also sings, and he also has some originals. So Mike and I have written some originals for the band. We have 4 now, and we play them when we play out. And this summer we're actually going to try to concentrate on that and beef that up to hopefully 10 or 12 originals. Because that's what you need if you want to go play festivals. You know, they don't want cover bands.
Right.
They want your originals.
Okay.
And Mike is also a professor at FGCU.
Oh, wow.
He is their head of oceanography. He is a doctor, PhD in oceanography, and he is also on the board with the state and looks after like all our red tide and that kind of stuff. So he's a sharp dude. And then to his right in the picture there at the end there, that's Kerry Wayne, who is also a great drummer. So when Blake is singing, Kerry jumps in and plays the drums. And sometimes he plays the drums on some of my songs too. And that way Blake can have dedicated backup vocals when I'm singing, or Blake can have another cocktail and hang out. Yeah.
Does Blake drink at all? I don't know.
No, never. None of us do.
No.
Very squeaky clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a deep bullpen.
Good group of guys. Good group of guys.
And we have a lot of fun. And that's the key. I think you watch a lot of bands, play over the years, and a lot of them burn out or they have issues. And it's because of the chemistry, no question. It's like a family thing. If you don't get along, or somebody is too dominant, or, my way or the highway type of stuff, or somebody has too bad of vices, and that happens, that's rampant because, that can crush a band and ultimately the individual. So
yeah, it was kind of weird because when I was young, I did security at a big, in Maine it was big, but at an auditorium setting, and Aerosmith would come in, and then you'd have back-to-back Foghat and all these bands. And then I remember Steven Tyler. I mean, the whole place is waiting for him to show up, and that's when he was going through some shit, right?
Yeah.
And his band is all there waiting, and of course he rolls in at like 9:00, and he's like, they all waited for him, but again, when you have a person in that band that has an issue, because you all think like, I would think like, hey, you guys are famous. You're making all kinds of money. Why wouldn't we all just get along and have fun? But that's a tough chemistry to do for a long period of time.
And you're dealing with people in some cases like Steven and some others, like a Michael Jackson, right, or Tom Petty, or just a lot of them. They have elevated capabilities, shall I say? They're on a different spectrum because of their creativity. And when you're around them, you can sense that, you could see that. And I've been around, like, I would say the most talented individual. I worked security also for some of the comedians that came into the University of Florida. So I worked Bill Cosby, Rodney Dangerfield, Eddie Murphy, Robin Williams. And Robin Williams was amazing.
You got a story about him. You told me some cool.
Yeah.
Robin Williams.
Yeah, Robin was amazing, but so talented.
You can share the Robin Williams story if you'd like.
Sure. So he was going to play the University of Florida homecoming event, which is called Gator Growl.
Okay.
And it's Friday night before the big game, which is on Saturday. And so we're at my club at the Islands, and I was the head of security there, and a limousine pulls up. This guy gets out, kind of well-dressed, and the guy gets out, and he walks up to the front door, and he says, hey, I'm Robin Williams' manager, and this is like circa 83, right? I'm Robin Williams' manager, and he's peaking, right? Big time, Mork and Mindy, Good Morning Vietnam, right? And he walks in, he says, I've got Robin Williams here, and he wants to hang out in your club because he's performing tomorrow night at Gator Growl. Completely unexpected, completely unannounced. So we're like, what did you say? We're like, yeah, Robin, where is he? He's in the car. And I said, okay. So they bring him in, and everybody was so starstruck that nobody said anything to him. They just stood there and looked at him. So there's like 4 bouncers, me, the manager of the club, and Robin Williams' manager, and they're just looking at him. So I figured I better someone's got to break the ice, right? So I said, Billy Bob Johnson, 68, Da Nang, you pulled me into that foxhole. I was shot up pretty bad. He goes, Johnny Vestner, is that you? Johnny, give me a hug. It's been so long. If it wasn't for you, I'd be a dead man. And then
the character,
unbelievable. And that was all I had. I had like one character, right?
Yeah.
He had like split, triple, quadruple, keep going on personalities. So I said, what would you like to do? We could sit here, and the place was crowded that night because it was, homecoming weekend. Would you like to hang out here by the bar? Would you like to go, in the green room or just backstage? And we had a brand new, cool green room. So he's like, let's go to the green room. So just me and Robin Williams go back there, okay? And I said, what would you like to drink? And he said, you got Wild Turkey? So we got a bottle of Wild Turkey, and I sat for 2.5 hours, 3 hours roughly, alone with Robin Williams in a green room drinking a bottle of Wild Turkey, just straight, him and I.
Wow.
It was.
They say that
one of my most memorable
his
nights.
mind was just unbelievable. Like when you're around him, you can actually feel it.
Oh yeah.
Just how much of a genius he is, and his creative mind was incredible.
Eccentric.
Got a few more pictures I want to bring up there. This is a cool one with Live Fest guitar.
Yeah,
rolling out.
Yeah, that's a custom guitar that was made by a very good friend of mine. Now we became friends over the last 5, 6, 7 years. His name is Stephen McSwain, and that's a McSwain guitar. So shout out to Stephen McSwain. You can look at McSwainguitars.com. So it's McSwain.com, McSwainguitars.com. And he makes all the custom guitars for Slash.
Okay.
And he's very good friends with Slash. Yeah. And so I bought a custom guitar from him from about like 6 years ago. And we were coming up on the 6th year of Live Fest starting, but the 5th year performances because we took a break in 2020 because of COVID. So he said, Steve, I want to do a special guitar for you. And he said, I'm going to custom make this guitar. That's all a metal front. That's backlit, LED backlit. So if you pull out the tone button that lights up and says Live Fest, and they handed that and presented that to me last December 2024 for the 5th year of live performances of Live Fest. Wow. And he writes on there on the headstock, Live Fest 2025, celebrating 5 years. Stephen McSwain, and the guitar plays amazing. It's
I bet.
It doesn't just look good; it plays.
Oh
good.
no, all his guitar. Yeah,
That's
he makes
If you
guitars
for
for Slash.
Slash, Slash probably the greatest guitar player alive, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And the whole package. That's back to what we were saying, Pat, about they were born to do this.
Of course.
Right? You look at that guy like
you can teach. That's not,
and the look, everything. Like, what else is you going to do? You're a rock star.
You're not going to go
come out as a rock star.
You're not going to go manage hedge funds. Looking like Slash
with that
cigarette
hat and hair.
Yeah.
And so the room there, that's the Live Fest Club. That's actually a room in my house. It's an addition to my house, and we perform live there. We actually are going to start doing it again on YouTube. It's called Live Fest Club is our YouTube channel.
All right.
And we're going to ramp that back up. We had some technical stuff that delayed things, but that's going to get ramped up. We actually have practice tonight. We might.
I need to invite to that club.
Yeah,
it looks pretty cool.
It's very cool. So that's facing, where people sit and enjoy the performances. And if you were on the other room where the people are on the other side of the room where the people are facing, that's where the band sets up and plays. And then to the left of that picture is a bar, full bar, and
wow,
yeah, it's a cool.
It's a big place there.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I think we got a few more pictures, or at least.
You want to share a Tom Petty story?
Sure.
Yeah, I'd love to hear a Tom Petty story.
Oh, Tom, what a good person.
Yeah.
So, more quiet, more reserved, as you can imagine. Just, there's Johnny and right there. That's Goo Goo Dolls right there.
Yeah, that's a great
Johnny
picture.
and Robbie out of Buffalo.
Buffalo, New York. Yeah, I was just going to say.
Yeah. One of the greatest videos of all time, in my opinion, is when they're playing, I think it's Iris. Yeah, they're playing Iris in the rain, July 4th, I think it's 2006 or something in Buffalo. It's pouring rain on the stage, and they played through the whole downpour.
Let it rip.
I mean, it's a little dangerous, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, they're connected, but all kinds of electricity.
Yeah.
There's water, on the stage. There are puddles. Just an unbelievable video. But those guys are really salt of the earth, really great guys. So Tom Petty, back to Tom. He would come into the club with Stan and Mike Campbell. Mike Campbell's got a book out. It just came out called Heartbreaker. It's brand new, just came out. I just bought it yesterday, by the way, at Barnes & Noble's.
That new Barnes & Noble's nice.
Oh, I liked it. Yeah, they did a great job there. But, Tom would come in. Sometimes he would bring Stevie Nicks with him. I'm sure his wife at the time probably didn't appreciate that, but it's the reality of it. And there are times, where Tom would get up on stage. He'd say, "Hey, do you mind if I go up and play?" And we'd be like, "Well, we're not really set up for that tonight. What do you want to do?" He goes, "I don't know, something unplugged, or, maybe, mic up a guitar," because then you mic the guitars back then. You didn't,
right.
They didn't have guitars that were electric acoustics.
Yeah.
So we would, mic up a guitar, and he'd get up there, and sometimes he would play. And one time I'll never forget, he was on a bar stool, and he's sitting on the bar stool, and he's playing, and he's like autopilot, these guys, so much, repetition. And that he starts leaning over slowly while he's playing, to the point where he's at almost a 45-degree angle, just totally ready to fall. I come running out from behind the stage, grab him, prop him up straight, and make sure he's sitting straight. I go, "Tom, are you okay?" He doesn't say a word to me. He just keeps playing. I go back behind the speakers, another 2-3 minutes, starts tilting again. He's just playing, and it's going on. And people in the audience are unbelievable. So, there'd be times we'd have to take him out to his car and make sure he got home okay.
Got rolling.
Yeah. He's a good person.
Rock and roll lifestyle.
Well, Stevie Nicks, while she was around, she was actually dating Jimmy Iovine, who was Tom Petty's primary producer at the time, and that was kind of like Jimmy Iovine's big introduction to the music industry. And Jimmy Iovine founded Interscope Records and ended up signing Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Gwen Stefani, 9 Inch Nails. I mean, Interscope Records is absolutely legendary. So,
yeah, for sure.
But really, how he got his big start was producing for Tom Petty.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how they met. The two of them. And
yeah.
she wanted so bad for so long to do a duet with him and have him write for her. And he was kind of nonchalant, pushing her off for a long time, like a couple of years, and then finally, she got what she wanted. Shall I say?
Don't go, bro. What's the song they got? Don't go.
Stop dragging my heart
around. Yeah, great song.
Yeah.
Was Tom's band pretty much the Heartbreakers? Whatever. Were they all right there from Gainesville area, Florida area? Or?
Yeah, they were.
So they all grew up together for the most part.
Yeah, moved out. So early on, Tom was actually a bass player. He started as a bass player, and one of his first bands, I think it was his first or second band when he was a teenager, it was called the Epics. And then the Epics, they'd play at Dubs and all those kind of places, and then it was Mudcrutch, and that's when they started really coming together, like the current group,
Right.
And then when they went out to L.A., they embraced the Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers name.
And you don't really realize it, but very few bands nowadays are truly like homegrown like that. A lot of them are, they'll rent a bass player, rent a guitar player, a drummer. I mean, there are a lot of plug and play bands.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but I got to know a little bit about that industry, and my buddy's a bassist, and he kind of plays for a bunch of different bands. He played for, I think he even played at one time for Tom Petty for a short period of time, and then, Billy Joel and all the way down the line. But they plug and play. One day he told me, he told Billy he couldn't make an event one night, and he's like, "Hey, Billy, I can't play tonight." And when he turned around and walked away, he goes, "I knew I was done." Next day, fired him. That's kind of how it goes. But you probably know about that. Those legendary bands that come up, and as far as in high school and college and play, and those are probably few and far between nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays. But I mean, you look at Aerosmith.
Yeah,
that's how they started. Those guys knew each other forever.
I think like Kings of Leon, they were strong for a while
great.
too.
Yeah,
love their amazing music. Yeah, amazing.
It's
music.
unique too.
But it's hard to find. Yeah, it's hard to find some of that stuff now. So,
Yeah.
But real quick for the comments, if you got questions, ask.
Good morning,
throw them out there.
Aaron.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
and
Lois.
who's your favorite band? Put out there. We want to have that in a comment.
Favorite band or album?
Band or album?
Let's go a couple of your favorite albums of all time. If you had to put 4.
Damn the Torpedoes, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Okay, that's one.
Wow.
Top 4
What's that Pink Floyd album?
The Wall.
The Wall. Yeah, that's a great album. I loved. I can't remember the album name, but Van Halen was the second band I ever saw live.
1984.
Yeah.
Was was their big album. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw them in 1980 or 81 at the Lee County Civic Center.
No kidding. Holy crap.
Wow.
And I tell you, that was the biggest thing we had anywhere for probably 200 miles, right? And oh my God, I'll never forget. Why, as a teenager in high school, watching the stage manager, literally look at what's his name, the lead singer,
Eddie.
Eddie,
No, David Lee
singer
Roth.
David Lee Roth. He would look at David Lee Roth for the cue, and David would point at a lady in the audience. They'd walk into the audience, go whisper in her ear, and then one would come backstage, and then this would go on the whole show till they had about 5 or 8 of them back.
Be like
there.
you come up here.
What's some of your favorite albums of all time, Tim?
I like Boston. Boston's like probably
for
one of my favorites.
albums, for albums, so any particular albums?
That one Boston album. Album wise, I do like. I don't know. It goes back to 38 Special.
Oh yeah,
And
Hold On Loosely.
Hold On Loosely, and then Van Halen was always. What was the?
we had them at Live Fest. Did you know that?
38 Special.
Yeah.
Oh really?
They went on before Good Intentions band.
Whoa. Really?
Can you imagine telling people,
flex a little bit.
Yeah. 38 Special opened for us.
Yeah.
At Live. Yeah. And then we did a Tom Petty tribute celebrating the 5th year of his passing. And that was something special. You could actually see that on YouTube.
That's amazing.
It's an
How many
amazing.
years
I don't know if you could play that live, but that or not just the visual of it. It give you a real feel for
probably
Live
if I
Fest.
do it. Yeah.
And we got some questions for Steve. Kevin asks, "Where is your dream venue to play at?"
My personal dream.
Your personal, yeah.
I'm like Zappa.
I would love to play Madison Square Garden.
Oh, well, that's probably the Mecca
or the Coliseum.
Yeah,
Hi, Kevin.
MSG's probably
Kevin in the house, and then
Morning,
your
Kev.
mom throws in there ABBA. She likes
she
ABBA.
likes
That's
ABBA.
always
Oh,
Rod
you know,
Stewart.
no, I take it back. I take it back, Kevin. I'm going back a second. Red Rocks.
yeah, Colorado, right?
Red Rocks.
Outside, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
cool.
my
Denver,
God.
cool. It's a
The
cool
backdrop
cool
there is
venue.
amazing.
That's amazing. I've been through it, but
What about like
I've never seen a concert there.
playing like the Whiskey or the Go-Go? Would be
Oh, you
pretty
mean-
cool too.
Oh yeah, Whiskey. Yeah.
Whiskey Go-Go,
Yeah,
or
Troubadour.
or Troubadour, and what's the other one?
Sure.
I'm drawing a blank here, but music venues on Sunset Strip.
Yeah, and they've really preserved them.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they look very similar to the way they did back
Yeah,
in
Molly
the day.
Corrects just did a pop-up show there recently. It was one of the first places they played, and they went back and played. And then
question,
Stephanie
Sam.
asks, if you were a local musician looking for ways to book gigs, what advice would you give? Asking for a friend.
The best thing you do is actually call the venue
Okay.
that you want to play at. Ask them who books their talent, and then give them name drop. I played here, I've played there, or send them
Or tell
video
me-
footage, or if they don't know you at all, or invite them to come see you.
Tell me, Patrick Dearborn.
There
That
you
should
go.
be a
Yeah, they'll get it
get
done.
right. Get right.
You're not
in there.
you're not any
I'm not.
restriction.
No, Patrick.
we put him on
Dearborn.
Patrick Dearborn restriction every
Yeah,
now
that
and
could be
then.
either good or bad.
It could be. I found
We love you, Patrick.
We love Pat Dearborn.
Morning, Kevin. We got Kevin back on. There we got morning, Meredith.
Morning, Meredith.
Heck.
What's
versus-
Kevin Wilkinson's favorite rock album or band of all time? Curious.
Yeah.
Want to hear from you guys.
Yeah,
So
it's probably good intentions, man.
Good intentions, definitely.
like
Huge.
right now,
Huge.
like currently,
Yeah.
music, our age. What do you listen to that's kind of like within the last 4 or 5 years? Anything that you kind of listen to, or you go down the road when you have girls in your family?
Yeah.
Like you don't
Imagine
really-
Dragons.
Yeah, right. You don't really
Taylor
you don't get-
Swift.
Yeah, you really don't get to
Selena-
control
what's,
the dang radio station.
Gomez. What's Selena?
Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, the Taylor Swift thing is starting to wear off a little bit on my daughter. She's not as heavy.
Yeah, they go through those stages.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And,
She went through a heavy Taylor Swift stage, though.
yeah. Well, my daughter, she's 34. She loves Taylor Swift. I'm like,
And actually, it's funny now when ask her what she wants to listen to. Like, we have some songs that we like to listen together. So it's like older stuff like Madonna and Whitney Houston. Like,
Yeah.
so that's pretty cool. Kevin, the Hysteria. Hysteria is one of the greatest rock albums of all time. Def Leppard, I believe, and someone could fact check me, but that album had 7 singles go in the top 10, which
Yeah.
is
Amazing.
up there. Because if you have 3, that's a
Super
home
rare.
run. 4 is,
Yeah.
unheard of. That's 7. 7
Yeah.
top singles
Yeah,
off
they just-
that one album.
and I remember those singles used to come out, the 45s, and then what was it? So it was like it was a big deal to get those singles, and then the way music dropped back then versus the way it drops now is a lot different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you had the Napster and LimeWire. How many computers got destroyed by LimeWire?
Yeah, just but looking back at how the evolution of music is, and then obviously with Netflix and movies and things like that, and you can just get it instantly, and you can drop at midnight,
Mhm.
and then the things go crazy. But yeah, no, good stuff.
But you kind of lose its luster because you had, debut of the video and then countdown to the album. Then you're going to that record store on a Tuesday when it comes out. So you kind of, and then the album cover and all that. So,
Yeah.
it's got its pluses and minuses being so rapidly available,
Yeah, it's really cool. Some cool stories that you have that you can divulge. Maybe not even the names, but some of the stuff that you've seen rock stars do that was just crazy. We talked about
Rock stars do crazy stuff.
tearing up hotels, doing some crazy stuff.
Maybe cocaine involved.
Yeah, maybe just induced.
Yeah.
Anything that sticks out. I'm sure you've had some wild ones in your security years.
Yeah. Rodney Dangerfield was an interesting one. He was playing in the middle of his performance of Gator Growl at University of Florida, and I was the security guy on stage. And the manager came over and said, "I need you to help escort some of Rodney's friends in." And so I said, "Sure." And it was in the middle of the show, and he said, "Can you set up 3 chairs along the side of the stage, backstage, so they can have a good viewing? And then let's go out and get them." So a limousine pulls up. These 3 gorgeous girls in their mid-20s get out, dressed to the nines, escort them in. They sit down in the chairs, and they're sitting there watching Rodney Dangerfield perform. And so I'm a single 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid. I say to the manager, are these his nieces, nephews, daughters? What? Because he was like 54, 55 at the time. They said, no, they're pros. And I didn't know what that meant. And I said, what is a pro? And he said, they're professionals. And then it kind of clicked. Right? Yeah. So after the show, I could also get hired for security, 24-hour security. And a lot of them couldn't catch a flight out that late after their show, so they had to stay the night in Gainesville. There's not a lot of flights.
Right.
Out of Gainesville, right? So, yeah, I had to escort 3 girls and Rodney to the Holiday Inn, and they went into the room, and I had to guard the door, outside, not inside, and so I don't know what went on in there, but that was kind of interesting. Another crazy night was that one night where Greg Allman Band was playing, and Greg used to play, pretty much under the influence all the time of something, and he had his back to the audience. He was playing piano. And so every time the music would die down, I was security on stage. It was a big night. So we had a pit up front, and we had 3 security guys in the pit. And there was a gal, who kept, whenever the music would die down, you'd hear her yelling, profanities and all kinds of crazy things about how upset she was with Greg and, how he left her and her son and so on and so forth. This went on for like 4 or 5 songs. And after few more drinks, she attempted to climb on stage.
A little security action there.
Yeah, she had a big nail sharpener, or a knife sharpener. Those old school heavy metal knife sharpeners.
Yeah.
With a big point on
Kintsu.
it. Yeah, and she went to climb on stage with that, pulled it out of her purse. I didn't know what to do, so I charged her and launched her back into the crowd with a kick. To it was either shoulder or neck area, and she went flying back. All the guys in the band are like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I just pointed at her and said, get her out. After the show, we were talking to management, and we said, should we talk to Greg about this? And they said, don't even bother, because he won't remember tonight. And by the way, she's one of 6, so that we know of that has the same issue. So that was the lifestyle back then. These guys. He didn't even know what happened. It was someone trying to kill him on stage. Almost could have done that if I wasn't paying attention.
Yikes!
Yeah, a lot of in through Collier County. I worked at sheriff's office for a long time. We had a lot of people come in doing a lot of dignitary protection, and the goal is right, not let anybody get to the subject. Get to the subject, right? Mm-hmm. But I think the best thing is if they don't know what happened or they don't remember it, that's you've done your job. But it's always one of those things where you got people in the crowd that get fired up, and you don't always know what's really fired them up. Like you said, ex-wife, girlfriend, affair, whatever the case may be, and you're kind of like stuck in the middle of it.
Yeah, so. I think that in this case, this gal, he needed to know, because it wouldn't be the last time.
Right.
Yeah, she was serious business.
Chicopee writes up there, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. That was obviously great. Bee Gees. The Bee Gees. Kevin.
Talk about vocals. Oh my God, the Bee Gees, the range they had.
Oh my God,
absolutely.
That's crazy.
You want to
and the look? They had everything. They had the look, the range, and the timing was perfect.
Yeah,
the disco.
I think we got one more picture here too. Got good.
Yeah,
good couple
of
good shots.
Fest.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep Steve on for a little bit? We'll go do one of the newsreels while we pay the bills here, real quick.
Yeah, that's good. Let's do. Let's go through some of our showstoppers. Get some good. We got to get the
literally
showstoppers,
yeah.
But in a good way, right?
Got some great sponsors,
great sponsorships,
awesome sponsors,
awesome sponsorship,
Naples' finest,
the best sponsors in the whole wide world,
best of the best.
Yeah, and if you know this one, Blake Becker, we're always honored to have him as being our show sponsor. And go ahead and
all right, guys, let's give a big shout out to our show sponsors, Becker Custom Builders. Blake Becker and his team are always about luxury design. top-notch quality, and giving you the best experience imaginable. Becker Custom Builders are experts in building your dream kitchen, bathroom, or even making your outdoor kitchen area a reality. They will take your plain house and make it into a cozy, welcoming home. So if you're looking to upgrade your space, Becker Custom Builders is the only place to look. They've got you covered. Blake and his team have whipped up the studio in no time, and it's looking great. Remember, contact Becker Custom Builders.
Yeah, we know Blake Becker. Blake Becker does a wonderful job. He's responsible for our studio here.
He is.
So he built that
quickly.
Very, very good in quick fashion. And we're always constantly doing it. We got so much to do. We actually started our construction here in our studio, and we never really got it all finished because we jumped in so quick, and it was
so much going on.
Yeah, it was full speed. So I know we also have another great sponsor is Clean Seal Curb Appeal.
Kevin, who's in the house this morning. Clean and Seal Curb Appeal. Elevate the elegance of your home with Clean and Seal Curb Appeal. Premium brick paver sealing enhances color, adds lasting protection, and delivers a polished, upscale finish. Clean and Seal, bringing timeless curb appeal to your home.
Awesome.
Give them a call, Kevin Wilkinson.
Yeah, and then we also have the one and only. We have Lawrence, and he coming up with. He's got Vanguard Partners, just an amazing sponsor that we have. I'm trying to grab his little information card as we go through here, but he does a wonderful job. And let's go ahead, Bryce.
This show is brought to you by Vanguard Partners, a consulting agency built for service-based business owners. If you've been giving away control of your success to marketing agencies, coaches, or even your accountant, it's time to take it back. Vanguard Partners was founded by Bryce, a business owner who owns 3 service-based companies himself. He'll teach you how to generate your own leads, create offers customers actually want, and manage your cash, percentages, and key performance indicators so you're not stuck guessing what's next. Visit Now Trade Money Biz Profit to book a free call and get your business back on track.
All right, we got Bryce Lawrence. Always a
Love
great
Bryce Lawrence.
If you had a chance to see him speak, hear him talk, he can do everything you need to get your business down. And he said 10% off the bottom line. He makes a lot of difference.
Heck of a fighter too.
Mixed
martial arts fighter. Yeah.
Yep. And then we got a little bit of.
We are very excited to share news about our great affiliate product, CellFit. CellFit is the first and only therapeutic enzyme that utilizes breakthrough cellular technology to make every cell in your body stronger and healthier. The benefits people are seeing are incredible. Pain is gone. Sleep is better. Energy is increased. Clarity is sharpened. Memory is enhanced. Skin is more clear and radiant. It's 100% bioavailable, which means it starts working right away. It's 100% natural and definitely no junk from China. Get fit from the inside out and get yours today at getselfit.com.
Hey, Patrick, did you take your CellFit today?
I sure did, Tim.
Hey, Patrick, did you take it?
I took it.
All right, buddy. CellFit.
Orally.
And I've been doing CellFit for it's almost been a month, but everybody asked me, does it really make a difference? And I can
you got
say
a lot of energy
that I feel
for
good.
A young man your age.
I feel good. Yeah,
you run around.
Yeah, I do run around quite a bit.
Yeah, you do.
Sell
real estate on the side. Live podcasts.
I'm retired, but
how's your retired life, by the way?
I got a little bit too much.
You're really good, right?
I'm just it's been good though. It's been good. And obviously we know Jeff over at T Clinics.
Yeah, we love Jeff Delaney, T Clinics, and the Viva Weight Loss. Look forward to shooting some content there this week, actually. And he had his podcast Friday with Francesca Skirbo, the Waste to Wellness podcast, which is really a great podcast. They give you the 411 on healthy lifestyle, nutrition, gut health, you name it, make it fun. And obviously a member of T Clinics as well. They're just not a sponsor.
And it's doing you good.
I'm getting there. Right? I'm getting there. Yeah. I missed some gym days last week, but we're getting back in the gym today. So, but definitely more energy, mental clarity, and just overall wellness. So can't say enough good things about T Clinics, and love Jeff Delaney.
Yeah, he's great. Steve, you're in good shape. Do you do anything exercise-wise, or you just kind of watch what you eat?
And I still compete in triathlons and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Doing that for a long, long time. But I know quite a few folks that use T Clinics.
I do too.
And
I do too.
All have good things to say.
I'm trying to get
Yeah.
Like them.
But yeah, you got to, you got to, well, they say use it or lose it. And that's really true. And once you get to a certain age, you start losing muscle mass if you don't stay focused on maintaining and keeping active. And if you don't have that skeletal balance, right, especially with the core and the push and pull of all the different muscles in your body, things start aching, things start bothering you. And so you got to keep every muscle engaged to some degree.
Yeah.
So it's
important. I think, sitting at home, obviously on the computer or not getting out, watching TV, things like that. That's definitely not good for you over a long period of time. So being fit, being exercise, walking, getting out.
Sitting down too long.
Yeah,
is not
absolutely.
Good for you.
Yeah. And in Naples, there's really no excuses not to get out because it's beautiful and there's places to go. You can go to the beach.
You can't blame it on the weather.
No, you definitely can't blame it on the weather. or you can say maybe it's a little bit hot.
It's
Look at that. But then you sweat off those.
Put on
calories.
a bathing suit and do a walk.
That's good. And then a big shout out to Paradise Lights. Corey Adams does a great job with lighting, not only holiday lights, but he also does your backyard. Actually, I'm going to get I got some additional pictures for Corey.
Just look at that house. Look how it pops.
Yeah, absolutely.
That landscape lighting pops awesome.
And he does residential, commercial, businesses all over town and communities, and does an absolute great job. And he's doing a giveaway for Memorial Day for veterans. So
yeah, I think I saw it this morning, up to $5,000 worth of lighting to a veteran.
That's pretty cool.
So we'll get a little bit more information on that and how to get signed up.
Yeah.
And I think you have to do it by, pretty soon. So I think by May 11th.
Let me tag Corey Adams in here. Maybe you can
get that information. Maybe you can, Corey, if you're on, you can maybe put it in the comments as well. A lot of good information. We got a bunch of people.
Morning.
No junk from China. We love it. China. Yeah. And that's good. We also, in case you don't know, we also play a fun game. We always like to do this fun game. We play this with Patrick, and Patrick's pretty knowledgeable. He's a knowledgeable guy. He knows a lot. We kind of make fun. I kind of make fun because he knows a lot about these sports, and we try to get him. The other day, he bet me twice lunch, and he lost. So it was John Elway. Where'd he go to college? And I got that. And then I think the other one was
who sang the song? It was White Snake.
White Snake, right? Yeah, it was White Snake. So Pat slowed down a little bit on betting.
Yeah, we're gonna be going to Costco for lunch today.
So
Tim. Hot dog and soda.
It's
Never said where.
That's right. So if you out there can either hit Pat with a college or an NFL football player, let's do that one first. Yeah. NFL football player that currently plays in the NFL, Pat will tell you what college he or she
or an older player from 95 on, basically.
95 on.
And I had to play trivia? A little bit music trivia, 80s band or artist. Name the song, and I'll name the band or artist.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll try.
Yep. So put it in there in the comments.
Morning sunshine.
Good morning. And you okay. Get Sharka on there. I hope you're feeling better, Sharka.
She's getting there.
Yeah. All right. Lois, May 11th, throw out there. Thank you. Yeah. Well, I'm sure Lois is going to help to find a veteran that we can get. Somebody to get those.
I think he might do a couple. So big shout out to Corey Adams, Paradise Lighting, for doing that.
He does. Now, if you can stump Pat Gyra, and there's a couple people out there that have to pick up their certificates, but they actually get a pretty good deal.
I know Steve's been to the Alamo.
Get to go to
the Scott.
Get to go to the Alamo. You get a free shooting session
or a shirt.
Yeah, or a shirt.
They got some great shirts
there. I've bought guns there. I've shot there. I've gone to events there. It's a great place.
Yeah.
Really great.
And the good thing about the Alamo too is when you go there, it actually
you played.
You can relax.
No, but there was I just was there. There was a country guy that was
country
playing.
guy. That's right. That's right. I just happened. Oh yeah, I just happened to run into you.
Yeah, we bumped into each other.
Yeah. But it's an atmosphere where you can go there, shoot.
So
no one's yelling at you, screaming, yelling. You obviously got to be safe, but they let you go ahead and do your thing. Makes a big
first class facility.
They lounge upstairs.
Beautiful.
They rolled a lot of money into that place. It's a lot more impressive once you get in there than just driving by. You got to go in and check it out. It's got the upstairs and the downstairs and
big. Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, it's a good size place. Let's see. We got some stories. I think we got.
Yeah, we can. You want to do the ice cream flavors?
Yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can find the ice cream flavors. And I think right here we got them. Let's bring this story up.
That looks good.
We need everybody out there. There's a slide before it.
Yeah,
right in front.
Yeah,
of it.
we want to hear from people. Actually, you know what? Let's. All right, well, you want to do the ice cream flavors?
A little bit of the ice cream flavors and see what y'all like with
the
ice
top
cream.
8 ice cream flavors. They rank from worst to best. So they did the top 8. So we want to, and this was they did vanilla. I'm not particular.
I'm not
vanilla. Yeah, I mean, if you buy vanilla ice cream, I think
you're a vanilla person.
Chocolate chips.
So,
right?
right?
Throw a couple chocolate chips in there.
Yeah,
just straight up vanilla.
like a Neapolitan.
Yeah,
the 3 flavors.
Yeah. So I think we had Talante. We didn't put them all.
Oh,
in there,
just some of the.
Talante.
Talante's really good. I would have put Talante at the top of the list. Breyers is not bad. Ben and Jerry's, though, super liberal company.
Yeah.
But they do make good ice cream.
It
did definitely hurt them.
hurt them.
They've definitely
just like Bud Light.
Yeah.
They
Bud
went
Light still has not recovered.
And they were not allowed to sell at Live Fest for a couple of years.
I'm glad that you put the foot down on that.
You guys
put
that's
the
a big
foot down.
deal.
Yeah. Well, it is a big deal.
I mean, they're a good company, good distributor, Budweiser, but they know it. I bumped into a guy the other day in a parking lot, and it was a big, one of those big, huge Budweiser trucks, right? And I can't remember. I was out of town somewhere. Actually, I wasn't out of town. I was at the corner of 41 and Vanderbilt, now that I think of it, and the guy was delivering Budweiser to, like, the Walgreens or something there, and or Whole Foods, I can't remember. But I went up to the truck driver, and I said, just quick question. I said, has Bud Light come back yet? And what were your thoughts on that whole thing? And here's a down-to-earth guy, right?
Yep.
He said, absolutely not.
Okay.
And he said, Modelo is what completely displaced Bud Light. And he goes, boy, did they screw up. And this is a driver for Budweiser who sees the deliveries, sees the case counts, right? Yeah. Knows it firsthand.
What did I tell you the other day, Tim?
Yeah.
I said that Modelo's the number 1 selling beer now in the U.S.
And it's
surpassed
great.
Bud Light.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if they'll ever recover. And another thing, too, is there's so much competition right now.
Yeah.
You've got all these seltzers, you got all these other things. I don't think they're going to come out of it.
No, I don't think so either.
It was a big slap in the face to their biggest base. Their base was, blue collar athletes, working guys.
You got to know your base. You got to know your target audience, and they went the other way, so it really didn't make sense. So I'm sure whoever made that call to do that particular marketing ad or whatever you want to call probably got fired, I imagine.
Yeah, yeah.
But so Turkey Hill is a good ice cream brand. They're number 4. Häagen-Dazs, you can't go wrong with Häagen-Dazs. Yeah. And actually, I don't know how was it Van Leeuwen ice cream?
Yeah, Lewin. Lewin.
They make great ice cream. Yeah. They actually do a chocolate French fry ice cream.
I've never heard of that.
That's off the chart. Oh, they have
raspberry.
Well, Mom likes raspberry, but these are the top 8 vanilla flavors. But Van Leeuwen, Drew
poor Drew. He got his hands full.
If you ever, I don't think Publix sells it, but you can get it at Walmart. They make great ice cream.
All right.
Sorry, Drew. I would help you.
Drew. That's all right, Drew. We'll get it cleaned up, buddy. We appreciate you, bro.
Sharka chiming in.
Sharka didn't eat much.
She ate the whole jar of the Talante. Talante makes good ice cream, chocolate fudge ice cream with chocolate chips yesterday. It's delicious. You can splurge. You're recovering.
You're allowed to do that.
Yeah,
you're allowed to do that.
She's recovering. Where did Elvis Patterson go to school? I don't know who that is. They're pulling out people. They're pulling out random.
Yeah. Elvis Presley somewhere in Memphis.
Yeah.
You're making him earn.
Graceland High School.
Yeah. No Breyers. Lois says no Breyers.
Why no Breyers, Lois? Just not good for you, or is it a liberal brand? I can't keep up anymore.
Yeah. I don't know on that one.
What's your favorite ice cream brand?
So I like Häagen-Dazs.
Häagen-Dazs is solid, yeah.
I know you perked up when you heard Häagen-Dazs. How can you go wrong? Like
yeah. Let's go for the winner. Let's go for the winner.
I've never even had this.
Neither.
Was it Tillamook?
Where's it out of?
Tillamook.
Is it U.S. based?
I hope so.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what
China.
Yeah, China. I'm going to go ahead
from
and,
Wuhan.
Yeah, great.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I don't want to get sued.
No, you guys go ahead for a second. I'm going to go help Drew real quick.
Okay.
All right.
But I want to hear from the audience. What's your particular favorite ice cream flavor or ice cream brand? And especially, I know you guys do a lot of gigs, so it's probably you got to try to stay and eat healthy. But traveling so much and being at these bars and stuff, how do you manage to stay fit?
Well, one of the things you got to think about is, especially for like vocals, or certain things you don't. Like you don't want to chill your throat. You want it to be warm.
Drink hot tea.
Right.
Honey.
So you got it. Hot tea, honey, throat lozenge, things like that. So you're not doing cold products. You're not drinking. You don't want to drink too much alcohol either. All that dries out your throat. It's the bottom line. So, Slippery Elm was Tom Petty's thing.
Slippery Elm.
Yeah, there's a thing called Throat Coat.
Okay.
Which is, tea bags you can buy, green tea bags, and Slippery Elm was Tom Petty's biggest thing, and so that helps, and
that was a secret weapon.
That was a secret weapon, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I learned that from him, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So I do Slippery Elm. I mean, I have a 4-octave range, which is a pretty broad range. The norm for everybody's around 2.5 octaves to 2.8. So if you have 4, mine starts at a lower register, as you can tell. So I can't hit those high highs because I start at a lower register, but it's a pretty broad range. But yeah, that's key. What you drink.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Chickabee, we'll sound the horn now.
I'm going to research who this guy is because I've never even heard of him.
You're bringing some tough ones.
We'll see if they qualify because you've had to play for at least 3 years to qualify to win that, but no worries.
Well, because
someone threw out a guy last week that played in the NFL for like 2 months. It was probably like a college or high school.
I think I saw that show. I watched that show, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
We definitely got to
up and literally played 2 months.
2 games.
Yeah.
I think was that Chickabee's.
He didn't play.
Too?
He was on the team for 2
months.
months.
That doesn't count.
Was that Chickabee's too?
Yeah, it was Chickabee.
She goes from the throat.
For the jugular.
She goes for the throat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Absolutely.
good. And I did sound the horn for Chickabee, so there we go. We got that. Let's see what else we got. Bluebell.
Bluebell's
banana pudding, Stephanie. Yeah, that's
Bluebell's a good ice cream brand. They kind of had a little hiccup with the Listeria for a little bit, but they've rebounded. But they got a lot of good flavors. Anything banana pudding related is good in my opinion. Big banana pudding fan.
Who's Sand Lady and Red Pet Jr.?
Chris de Berg. I believe.
Who's Sand
Chris
Lady
de Berg, if I'm saying it correctly. Chris something. Chris Div something. I think de Berg.
I don't know on that one. Lois goes on a little bit.
Great
here,
song, lady.
She talks a little bit.
How about All For You?
All For You. I don't know. So nothing comes to mind. Give me a 80s?
They went 90s.
I meant more 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All For You. What was it?
They're out of Gainesville.
Bar band.
No. It was a big song.
Oh, Steve, you got to do better than that if you're going to quiz me with someone.
Steve throws it up there.
Steve just wanted me to tell.
We're adding it to our set list, and I'm drawing a blank.
You got to add a Motley Crue or Def Leppard song.
Sister Hazel.
Sister Hazel.
Sister Hazel.
They're out of Gainesville.
They're out of Gainesville.
No kidding.
Another
Right,
Gainesville band. Yeah.
The current day Breyers
Took me a while.
extra creamy vanilla product below is, for example, is also not real ice cream. Has multiple ingredients. Mr. Breyer pledged to never have a Breyers branded products. Never have.
Okay.
That's good.
Boycott Breyers.
Lois has got good info.
Oh, absolutely.
She
drops the hammer.
Detailed. Wow.
Okay, so all right. So Chickabee, I failed to play the horn.
I said
I did play the horn. So like kind
I
of
was
95.
very specific, Chickabee.
Yeah,
I said 95 on.
Yeah, he did say that.
So he drops in 2 years younger.
Yeah.
Just throwing go right for the.
Yeah, they're gunning for you today.
They are, because
They're having a hard time. They have a local shootout, Royal Scoop, the OG one.
Yeah, we want to give a shout out to Royal Scoop, Matt Moen.
Matt Moen and several
Royal
other.
Scoop,
There's several other owners too at Royal Scoop, but Matt Moen's got
I think
really
he,
good
yeah, he does. I think he owns all of them now. I could be mistaken, but shout out to Matt Moen.
I think the one on Vanderbilt's owned by a guy in our community. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's a couple.
And they do a lot of great stuff in the community as well.
Janet Jackson saying,
All for you.
"All for you."
Okay.
You guys got it on these comments here.
Yeah,
So they're cranking them out. So
But we want to bring Drew on. So Steve, always a pleasure,
Steve,
my
it's
friend. Love
amazing
running to you
having you
everywhere.
on.
You're a good man.
Thank
and,
you, sir.
can't wait to.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you
us.
so much, buddy. I appreciate it. So much
do you-
knowledge.
Do you already have bands lined up for Live Fest?
He was
but-
going there earlier.
I know.
Yeah, he
You
wanted to
probably
go
can't
there.
You probably can't announce it yet.
Yeah, I can't announce it.
But you have. a lineup pretty
No,
much.
wait. I could just say that it's definitely a chemistry project, right? Because you want to get a balance. We try to balance country with rock and roll.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that it's can take the event to the next level. And every year that gets to be more and more of a challenge.
Yeah.
With some of the talent that we
They're
had.
expecting bigger and bigger every year.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. The expectations keep going up. So we're close. We're close, but not ready to announce. So we don't have anything finalized. I mean, if I had something finalized,
You would announce
I
it,
would tell you. But
you're working on some.
yeah.
And now, how does that work? You get management band reach out to their. They have all these bands obviously have connections to do that.
Yeah.
And just make sure the date flies.
Yeah,
and
a lot of
contracts
times
throwing back
yeah,
and forth.
a lot of times there's tour conflicts, right?
Right,
So like some
right.
of them may be touring with Live Nation, and there's geographic restrictions, like within 2-hour drive within a certain amount of time, they don't want that artist playing again
Yeah.
within that period of time because it conflicts with their ticket sales. So if it's too close together,
Okay.
they're like, oh, this is too close. That now it's going to compete with our ticket sales.
Tampa or Miami.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
You don't
So-
even think about those little
Yeah,
variables.
yeah. And then the other
Going
thing
there.
too is the bands they tour usually from March, and then they stop touring in November.
Yeah, so it's
so we're in December, but they like it because they could play golf. They
and they
bring
come
their
to
family.
Naples. It's an excuse to come
Stay
to
at the
Naples.
Ritz,
For,
Yeah, not bad.
not a bad gig.
No.
Thank you so much. We appreciate
very
it.
welcome,
Love having
guys.
you on.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And you
Thank
keeping us here in Southwest Florida entertained.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it,
you,
brother.
Bucko.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
And we got Drew Montez Clark waiting in the green room.
Yeah, he's in the green room waiting. He had a grand entrance coming in. It was a good one. We'll put a little bit of we got the camera on you now, Drew. We got some. Look at that, party favors.
Wow.
Yeah, it's always good when the doc comes in like that. Yeah, coming in. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Wow, look at
Whoa,
that.
whoa.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Do you mind
Yeah.
doing some pictures, Steve? When you do that? Thank you.
Yeah, this is great.
Wow.
Look at this. Little baskets for us.
First class.
Thank you.
We're getting spoiled. People have been bringing in
coming
cookies.
One of them dropped, so I owe one of you a Omega.
You don't
Oh,
know.
we're good. We're good.
It's all out
Yeah,
there.
no, we got it.
Hopefully, squirrels don't eat it, but or maybe it'll be good. Maybe they'll. What do we got today, Drew? We got some
So,
breakthrough essentials.
yeah, breakthrough
Make sure you're
essentials.
talking to Mike.
Yeah, Breakthrough Essentials. That's our vitamin line.
Okay.
So one of the things that we have a problem with is a lot of stuff they put in a product. So that's a clean vitamin line that we use. That's a multivitamin there. The Omega Matrix is what fell out there, so it's an Omega
Okay.
blend.
Okay.
And then you have some Dream Z powder. It's a tri-blend of magnesium. Right, so you talk about sleeping and things like that. It's
Okay.
really good for that.
Okay.
And that's one of our books. My wife and I co-authored 2 books. That one's Nerves in Distress, and we have another one called The Breakthrough Body.
Amazing. I'm going to get that up here in just a
let's
second.
do it
Let's
now.
we'll do a little bit of
Yeah,
a
Drew.
group
Drew is always
wide.
looking fabulous. She could be one of the most sharp dressed guys always.
Yeah, Drew always looks good. He's so squared away. We're both holding up the book. We got all kinds of little goodies here and that thing and the yeah,
If you ever met my wife, I have to keep up with her. So
Oh man, yeah, I met
that's
your
really
wife.
what
Yeah,
it's
you
all
definitely
about.
helped keep you covered. I tell you what, she's Miss Jamaica
Yeah, she's
National, right?
Mrs.
Yeah.
Jamaica International. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I saw some of her page yesterday, and I had been to your events and just wonderful family.
The kids, yeah. I mean,
I-
the kids made sure everyone was taken care of, passing out drinks and refreshments, and
Yeah.
so well behaved too.
Just
we're
great kids.
parents, so
Yeah.
my 11-year-old daughter can be here for about
And you
15, 20 minutes. And
You got 5, too.
Five.
Right? Five
Five.
kids. I mean, I have 2 daughters, and 2 is keeps me busy. 5.
I have 1 that keeps me busy
Yeah.
part-time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know how you keep that
I may
going.
have been part of the problem. Part of it, not the whole problem, but part of it.
What's that?
I may have been part
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
problem. Yeah, I was chasing a boy. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
I love my girls.
Yeah, you
I
were
was
just
chasing
wanting
a
that boy. Yeah, you finally got one.
Finally got one.
Yeah.
Finally got one.
He's cool too.
Yeah.
What's what's it like having 4 girls and the boy? Is it
It's so
definitely
different.
a different?
It's very different.
Yeah.
It's very different. It's like a little a bunch of pent up testosterone in this little bitty body.
Make sure you're talking to Mike.
Just tilt it up a little bit.
Or you can have
Just tilt it. There you go.
whatever. you prefer.
Whatever's good. Whatever.
Yeah.
I like to
So
stand.
it's like a bunch of pent up testosterone in a little bitty body. You know, so
We're getting some pictures taken. That's good.
he's more aggressive than the girls. It's obvious.
Yeah.
So everything he wants to throw, toss, hit, it's a natural thing. So, but yeah, and my girls, they're like, he has 4, 5, 6 mothers in the house now.
That's what I was gonna say. They must be all over him.
Oh, they really are.
All
They
the
really are.
time.
They argue every morning about who's going to hold him first.
Oh, really? They like it.
Literally.
They like it.
They
Yeah,
run over
yeah.
as soon as they wake up, like, who's going to hold him first?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
His girlfriend is going to be definitely fully vetted when it comes to that time.
100%.
Having 4 sisters.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
She's going to go through the ringer. They're going to
Yeah,
make sure
yeah.
he gets
She
the best
meets
of the bet.
standard.
Yeah.
She meets the standard.
And then she's going to deal with me. So,
And
and,
then-
my wife.
Exactly. But no, and then the other night we were at the event, the concert, and the kids. I saw you bring up some food with them, and they share with each other. Just good kids. I'm sure though it's got to be exhausting.
Oh, it's never a dull moment. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Never a dull moment. And if you put a bunch of girls in a tight space, the decibel level goes up.
Oh, I bet.
Right. So like
I
my
bet.
wife did this sleepover for I think it was for my oldest, and they did this dream theme sleepover. So she put up all of these. I have to send you a picture of this. Put up all these tents. They had a sleepover in like the main foyer of the house. But there's like 8, 9, 10-year-olds running around the house. That was loud.
Yeah, I bet.
I
That
bet.
was loud. I've already
bet.
decided there's a certain time of the month when this starts happening that baby Drew and myself, we're going to go on a hunting trip somewhere. Somewhere in the U.S., there's always going to be hunting season. We're going to go for a week
That's
and
awesome.
let them
Get
have the
away.
house.
Yeah, we're Chickabee's jumping in there. We're catching up with some of these comments. Wife's gorgeous. Kids are adorable. Yeah. Dr. Clark. So, yeah, we got a little bit of a formal. You came in so fast, but Dr. Drew Montez Clark, a lot going on. You and your wife are doctors here, chiropractic medicine, health, wellness. You got a lot going. And then to top it all off, you're running for representative, state rep.
You're not
at
busy enough with 5 kids. and
District
with
82.
business
We don't know how not to be busy. I
Yeah.
think that's the issue.
But that's great, though.
You
That's
know?
great. Yeah.
If we don't have somewhere to be or somewhere to go, we think something's wrong. That's just the way it's wired. That's the way it's been since I was little, to be honest. You know, so I played football through college. I mean, through high school and since I was probably 8, and it was always football or track or something. We were always running around and doing something. So life being busy is just a normalcy for both of us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And then opening businesses. We moved here in 2011. So opening business, we have 2 offices, one in Bonita
Mhm.
and one in Fort Myers.
Okay.
So we live in Collier, but all our businesses are in Lee. And going through entrepreneurship, transitioning into politics, it was really nothing, because the demands that it takes to open and run a business are kind of simultaneous. You got to go to networking events. You got to go and meet. You got to go to screenings. You got to go to talks. I mean, it kind of coincides.
And have you always kind of been involved or interested in politics, or did that come later on?
No, it did not.
Okay.
It did not. So, to be honest, leading up to probably 2020, aside from me having conservative values, I wasn't very interested politically, right? Besides going and voting. And it was really the landscape of what happened in the country that pushed me into that framework. And it started with health. I saw health and faith, I should say. I saw churches being shut down. I saw people who were believers being afraid to speak. I saw a lot of information that was going out that just wasn't accurate and true about how we were dealing with COVID and things of that nature. And it just pushed me to speak. And then above all else, if you don't notice, I am a Black American. I'm a conservative.
I didn't notice that.
And no, you didn't. And at the
We
time-
don't notice color anyway.
And at the time, everybody was saying that we didn't exist. And I'm like, well, I have a responsibility to say, no, I do
Call
exist.
BS on that.
We have a family, we're conservative, and I'm going to call you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
That's what
good.
pushed us into that forefront. Yeah. But we cut our teeth on health.
Let me ask you that question. Get right down to it too. Being a Black American, like you said, how difficult that is. How difficult is that for you sometimes to break through and let people see that, hey, we've got a voice. We're out here. We're that's got to be a little bit different.
I think it kind of goes both ways. It can be difficult, but it also can provide an advantage. I don't like identity politics, but sometimes it just is what it is, right? So I don't like the fact that because of the color of my skin, people assume they understand my political affiliation. That
that's
I don't
frustrating,
like,
right? That's true.
Because if you talk to me for 5 seconds, you understand exactly where I stand. If you look at my family, you see exactly where I stand. So that's sometimes difficult, but at the same time, I enjoy the challenge of really speaking truth and life and light into what I believe is darkness, right? So there's siloed information that's just not factually based, and I like speaking truth into that. So I enjoy it. Actually, I enjoy the challenge, I guess you could say.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And then, stepping up, jumping in, politics, I had a little taste of it. I will tell you that it's not for the weak of heart, and I was running for a much different position, but it's just a lot of work, right? And you got to be out there. You got to be available for people. You got to, put the gears in motion, constantly bringing your team together and trying to formulate, plans and whatnot. What do you have? We'll talk a little bit about the medicine here as well, but what do you want to do, and what are some things that you want to push in Tallahassee as a rep?
Well, I think ultimately, this position, you have to understand that you're supposed to be representative of the people.
Right.
So I have a strong opinion about pretty much everything. I filter that through 3 things: faith, family, and the Constitution. So everything, I take a biblical worldview and filter through that, but the Constitution is sitting underneath that. But I have to listen to people and what they want. And ultimately, the 2 top things that I hear right now that people are really talking about is insurance rates.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm really talking about it because you're actually my rep.
Right. That falls underneath really affordable housing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Soon to be rep. Hey, you liked how I said it, though, right?
You got to speak it into existence.
Lauren Mello is now currently
speaking into existence. That's biblical. Speaking into existence.
Yeah, that's it.
But at the same time, you have property taxes, another big one that people are talking about. And I think both of these fall into the framework of affordable housing and things of that nature. And then we have infrastructure. Those are the top 2 things that I hear when we're out and talking to people in district that they want to see addressed. It's infrastructure, it's roads, it's growth, and then we get into property taxes and insurance, right? So that has to be, if that's what I'm hearing mostly from the district, that has to be the top three things that we start focusing on to bring back. Of course, there are other things down the line, right? Especially when we talk about family and values. I mean, we just had, I think the court case was on Friday. They heard arguments for the ACLU against the Naples City Council.
Yes.
For the Pride stuff. Right. So that speaks to family values. It speaks to the nuclear family and what we allow in the community. So that's big too. So there's a lot of conversation going on that, and I have strict and strong opinions about that too.
You got an event coming up on Friday, which we'll be at the Ritz.
Yep. At 5 to 6 p.m. at the Ritz. We're doing an event out there, just talking about how we're going to make Florida the example for America.
Okay.
All right. So
make America Florida, right?
There you go.
Absolutely.
There you go. I guess I got to invite Patrick Denbourne is not going to be able to be there, but he's dubbed this whole Freedom Town USA thing. So I guess I got to call him. And
I didn't mention Patrick Dearborn, Tim, so I get a pass on that one.
You get a pass on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm going to do my best to try to get over there. But I was at your kickoff in Golden Gate, and your words were great. Again, it was so nice to see your family and just so powerful. Pretty exciting times, though. Tell us a little bit about. I'm going to go ahead and put this out, this event here, real quick, so we can all see it.
Yeah, we'll be there. Myself, Tim, Blake's going as well.
Yeah, so
we don't need to. That's a handsome guy.
That's
yeah, look at that guy, man.
A little biased, but that's a handsome guy.
He dressed good, though.
Good looking man. Yeah, definitely sharp dress.
He definitely fits the part, looking sharp.
Who's more sharply dressed though, Tim? Larry Love or Drew?
Well, Larry kind of goes on his own. You know, he like, I mean, he does have a fashion statement.
I think Larry's got fashion style, though.
Well, sometimes I think I think he thinks he does, but who am I?
Well, I'm asking your opinion. That's why.
Well, I think they both look good.
Yeah.
Larry dresses in things sometimes that I'm like, you really would wear that? But he gets away with it. He can pull it off.
He does, yeah.
Drew is
He's not running for office.
Drew's very conservative, and he dresses.
Larry sets trends. He doesn't follow them.
Yeah.
He sets the
trend.
trend.
Right, exactly.
I'm gonna set the fashion trend.
There you go. Spoken like a true politician.
Yeah. And Larry does dress good. It's just I'm not the one to say whether it's good or not.
Well, how about people can comment Larry or Drew?
Yeah,
I get flack. I am a jerk, but more sharply dressed, Larry or Drew.
Look, Drew without a doubt.
They're both.
And we're gonna put this to bed too, because I've had people ask me whether or not my wife dresses me or not. She does not. I dress myself.
Oh, you dress yourself?
I dress myself.
Yeah, I get
just
in trouble.
Want to put that to bed.
Yeah, I get in trouble because I've worn uniform all my life, military, law enforcement. So with me, I get up and I wear I like to wear. I don't have to think about
like a uniform.
Yeah, I just put on this shirt, go out.
There's some science to that too. There's some science to that with some of the elite people in society, if you will. That's why they wear kind of the same thing all the time, because you get this thing called decision fatigue. And that's one decision I don't have to make. Yeah, you know.
That's
one decision I don't have to make.
Time after, picking out is what you're going to wear. Yeah,
wear it. You know, and I'm not like I look back in my high school days, but I was always like, I'm not going to wear something that to me looks silly to, but certain people can pull it off. You got to admit, Larry wears stuff that not many people can pull off, absolutely. And he does it. He looks good like that.
I have my Larry days. I have my Larry days where I wake up.
We'll call that.
I want to be different today. I just want to stand out. I don't want to be like anybody else. I'm gonna push the envelope and see what I can come up with today. And then I have those days where I just want the uniform. Just give me the white shirt, the tie, and the pants, and let's go for it. Let's tackle the day.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I know Lauren Rossi puts some thought in what she puts on every day, right? Sometimes, yeah. Okay, no worries.
But no, so looking good there. And then let's talk a little bit about your business and what you.
So you guys actually you guys actually.
Yeah, that's our brand.
That's
Breakthrough
brand.
Essentials.
Oh, okay, wow.
Our office is Breakthrough Health Centers.
Okay.
We have locations in Bonita and Fort Myers at the moment. We were working on a third location. We paused on that when I decided to throw my hat back in this political ring. So
sure.
Before that, we were looking at third location down in Collier. So that's on pause.
Of course.
Yeah. Multi-vitamin.
So it's a good multivitamin. It doesn't have any trash in it. I mean, when you think about this, we do something for our patients. We do a supplement review.
Okay.
So we'll have them bring in their supplements, and we'll do a review. Our team will go through a review, and they'll point out all the ingredients that are in those supplements that people typically don't think about. Because if there's one thing that I tend to spend money on, it's health. It's health-related things.
Yeah.
And you got to think about it like this. Like, if I'm going to eat, food be included in that, and I'm getting a 99-cent burger, is that really a burger? How many hands that have to pass through, and how many times can you chop up $1?
Right.
For everybody to get their profit, for you to end up with something that is a suitable product for you to consume.
Yeah.
Like when you really think about it like that, you know what? Yeah. I'll spend a little bit more money to make sure I'm eating meat.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
And I know where it comes from, and I know it's safe, and I know it doesn't have anything. And so, the dyes, we can kind of piggyback and jump into a few things, right? Because we had red.
Couple dyes got just
49, 32, whatever it is.
What was the first one? The first one was red, right? The first one was red. So when that got banned, I've been talking about this for 15 years since we've been here in practice about the problems with it. And we knew 30 years ago that red dye caused cancer in rats. We knew that 30 years ago. So my question always was what took us so long to ask the questions? That's why I like RFK Jr. is because he's asking the questions that no one else was willing to ask. I don't care whether you agree with him or not, but in science, we used to get to a point where we would lock ourselves in a room. We'd look at the data and the statistics and the research. We would argue and fight, but at the end of the day, we had to rest with what the data and research said. So when you're not making decisions based on that, what are you making decisions based on?
Well, the stuff that they put in food here, too, you can't even sell in Europe. It's outlawed by the European Union. I mean,
that's a great point.
Yeah, so it's just, why is it acceptable here? And goes back to,
there's that question.
Big food and, lobbying and all that. So,
yeah. So you got a guy like myself, I'm in my 30s. Jude looks at me laughing. So I'm 58.
Yep.
What are some things that you would look at me, and obviously you'd have to do some blood work to find out exactly what I needed, but what would be some good things that you could suggest, that vitamins, things like that I should be taking every day?
I got one for you right here.
I know.
The ones that I gave you all right now, to
Yeah.
be honest, are some of the baseline. It's called our balance line, and it's really foundational nutrition. So I believe in supplementation. I think we should get our nutrients from food, but I do think we need supplements, especially if we get into food practices and farming and soil, and it's just not what it used to be.
Yeah.
And our habits itself. So a good multivitamin I think is good. A good omega fish oil. So if you remember a while back, it was a big craze about everybody needed fish oil, but then they came out and said, "Oh, well, you need omega 3s." And I said, well, wait a minute, you need omega 6s too. And oh no, you need omega 9s. And then it came out, well, they have to be in the right ratios. So that's why we did a tri-blend. It's in the right ratio with omega 3, 6s, and 9s. I think that's something that most people, regardless, should be with. And then you have magnesium, which is a mineral that a lot of people don't get enough of, that I think is good to have. So those three
Are these
typically
in this one? Are they pretty much in this one? You know?
No, the omega matrix is the one that dropped outside.
Okay,
So that's
okay.
the one I owe you.
So with this one here.
Yep.
okay.
That's the one I owe you.
I'll sell you mine, Tim.
Yeah, there you go. I saw it go down too. I was like, what? It went down.
Yeah.
I
So
would
those
have ate
would
him
be,
up off the ground.
and then a good probiotic, to be honest,
Mhm.
right? Because when we understand that 60 to 70% of our immune cells are housed in our gastrointestinal tract, we understand how important our gastrointestinal system is to our overall health. Anything immunity speaks to that. So a good probiotic, when you get into that framework, that's usually the baseline minimum. Then we get into blood work to see exactly what you need, what your deficiencies are and things like that.
What does Drew Clark eat for breakfast? What's a typical breakfast for you?
Typically, I don't eat breakfast.
Really?
Most of the time, I don't.
heard it's the most important meal of the day.
Yeah, well, on the weekends I do.
On
On the weekends I do. During the week,
He's got 5 kids. He's got no more food left. I mean,
you could only imagine how many eggs we go through.
I can't even
Eggs
imagine.
aren't cheap right now either.
So when all these stores were limiting and they were saying, oh, you can't get but 2 cartons of eggs per household. I mean, my household? A household of 7 is different from a household of 2. Like, I go through 2 dozen eggs in one morning.
I can see Drew going into Publix going, look at all these kids. I got to get 2. I got to get 2. I got to get 2.
I'd have to go to
Let me get an
multiple
extra
stores.
dozen. Yeah.
Then I just decided to go get some chickens.
Yeah, there you go.
Get our own eggs.
Yeah,
Get our own
chicken,
eggs.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah.
So during the week, I typically don't eat until 12, 1 o'clock.
Really?
Yeah. So
No
during the
kidding.
week, I don't.
Now,
eat
what's
till
a lunch look like for Drew?
I have to
Do
break.
you ever eat bad?
I do.
Okay.
I have an 80-20 rule.
Okay.
80-20. 80% of the time I'll eat super clean, super healthy. So 20% of the time I can do what I want.
Okay.
But the 80% justifies the 20. I can't
Okay.
go get my 20 if I haven't done my 80.
Yeah.
Right? So I have to do the 80 because people reverse that. I'm going to go do my 20 and then I'll do my 80. No.
That's me. That's me, Drew. I'm like, that's me.
I'm doing my 80 so that allows me to get my 20.
Right.
So if I'm out, and I love, my favorite cake is like carrot cake.
Yeah. People. We had. I think at your kickoff we had some. Wasn't there like there was a bunch of
The
like,
cookies
There was
and
like cupcakes.
Yeah, don't
cupcakes,
judge my
yeah.
health aspect from what was
Yeah,
there.
that's
Yeah,
Don't do
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Don't do
yeah.
that.
You gotta give people sweets when you come to your campaign. I mean, you gotta feed them up with sugar.
So yeah.
You know the way people's hearts.
But so how do you find a lot of people in general in Collier County, Lee County, the 239? Do you feel like as a whole we do a pretty good job at taking care of ourselves, or what do we need help in?
I think people need information. So back to what got me into this, and we're talking about a lot of disinformation, if you will. That word's been thrown around so much I don't like to use it anymore. But if people know better, they do better. Right. And that's what it is. I think the more we understand, like we're having conversations about food dyes, we can have a conversation about the food pyramid. I mean, that was all wrong for decades. And everybody on I'll just say this side of the aisle, I like to compare our system to like firefighters and carpenters. I like to use simple examples. Right. So I look at the traditional medical system as firefighters, and I look at the side that I'm involved with regard to chiropractic and some other specialties as carpenters. And we need both. If your house is on fire, you don't call the carpenter.
No.
So I tell someone, if you're having a heart attack or a stroke, don't walk through my door. I can't help you. You need to go to the hospital. You need to go get emergency care. You need the fire to be put out. Right? You have stage 4 cancer. You need the fire to be put out.
Right.
Now, aside from that, once the fire's out, Why do I keep calling when I call the firefighter back after you put the fire out?
Call someone to build it.
You call someone to rebuild it. I got to strip out the waterlogged carpet. You got it. I got to call somebody to rebuild. That's what you call on my side, right? It's a carpenter. The problem that we have is we keep calling firefighters for a carpenter problem. It's not the firefighter's fault, right? Mm-hmm. It's the fact that we're using the wrong information to yield the result. Well, let's say it this way. We're looking for a result in the wrong place, right? Not because anything wrong with that side of the aisle, but only because we need a different specialty at this particular point. So if we know better, we do better. You know about dyes, foods, how we should eat, what we should eat, when we should eat, how much we should eat, what are macros. We can get into details on that. We have a weight loss program too. We can get into some of the details on that. But then you get into, let's say, chiropractic, right? So most people would believe, I'm a chiropractor, most people would believe chiropractic is a luxury, it's an option. And it's not. And the thing that I'll ask them is, no one would argue with the fact that the nervous system is the most important part of your body. No one would argue with that. We learned in grade school the brain is the most important part. Mm-hmm. So why is it the last thing we look to if we lose our health?
Protect your noggin. Yep. And
the last thing we look to if we're trying to maintain our health or regain it. It's the last system we look to, but the most important. It doesn't really line up. Right. Mm-hmm. So we have that framework of being very reactive with regard to our healthcare. So the only time we seek out healthcare is when something's broken. When in actuality, the best time to seek out healthcare is proactively beforehand. Right. And I think chiropractic plays a big role in that. We just have stigmas because you can go on YouTube right now and you can see the ring dingers and see people wrapping towels around people's head and yanking their, and it's funny for some people, but I wouldn't do that. Nobody does that to me. And in our office, for example, we don't do any twisting, cracking, popping whatsoever. So usually the next question that people ask is, well, what do you do? Because when you think chiropractic, you think I'm going to twist you into a pretzel and unwind you.
Right.
It's not what we do. Right. So we take a very specific approach in that. And we use techniques in the office that don't require it. One of which is the most researched technique in chiropractic. It's called chiropractic biophysics. So the same way we have an engineer look at the structural aspect of this building and understand the frameworks, understand where load-bearing structures are, we have science that tells us your structure, where the load-bearing parts are, what the curve should look like, what the angle should be based on your unique presentation. And then we apply that and get you close to normal. The closer we get you to normal, the better your body functions. Because the skeletal system, bone system, is in part there to protect the nerve system. Okay. That's the only reason we look at bones.
Interesting.
Period.
Yeah, and you know, because I think a lot of people have this misconception too, is like, hey, my back hurts, I'm going to go get cracked. I'm going to be walking out the door, and I'm going to be all aligned. But there's a lot more that goes into it, obviously.
100%. I mean, you have to think about, a lot of times that happens. You feel the pain, but the problem has been ensuing for the previous 5 years, 10 years, however long. Just because that's when you started feeling the pain doesn't mean when your problem started.
Right.
And you have two ways you can approach it. You can take it from a pain management standpoint, in which I'll never beat, a cortisone shot or steroid or Tylenol. If you want to get out of pain, those are the quickest and most effective ways to get out of pain. But is pain the problem? Do you have that pain because
more like a Band-Aid, though,
It's more like a Band-Aid. Yeah. And I tell people all the time, I can't tell you not to go do something like that if that's what you need, right? Because speak to someone who's in chronic pain, and I've seen a lot of people that are in a lot of pain and can't sleep at night, can't work. Tell them they shouldn't do that to get back to work.
Right.
Doesn't work. But what I do tell them is you got to understand that the lack of Tylenol or cortisone or steroid shot is not why you have the pain of the problem. So do what you have to do, but we still have to work on fixing the underlying root of the issue.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like washing a car that doesn't run that well.
There you go. You got a clean car.
Clean car looks good, but there's a lot more to it underneath the hood. But, we appreciate
Before we let Drew run, want to talk about the diaper drive that you got going on, right?
We got this coming up. We definitely want to bring that up, and this is important to get out there. There wasn't a video. I mean, a video came, but we got this here. Can you just give us a little rundown on that?
For sure. So we're part of the community. So because we're part of the community, we like to give back to the community we're part of. So we partner with nonprofits once a quarter.
That's one day at Drew's house. I was just we know why Drew's doing a diaper drive.
Once a quarter, we partner with a nonprofit, and we do drives. There's only one drive that we do that's monetary. Everything else is tangible goods. So we're doing a diaper drive right now to benefit the Women's Resource Center and down in Naples. and Sunlight Homes.
Yes.
So we're doing that diaper drive for them. This is just one of our offices, kind of where we are at this point. We have, I think we're at about 6,000 diapers the last count that I had.
So you're good for about 2 days.
Yeah. How many kids do you have in diapers?
There's only one right now.
Yeah.
There's only one right now.
We could have Lauren on for longer. We can
Diapers
stay
ain't
later
cheap,
than 10.
too.
But
No,
one on
no.
diaper, you probably try to get them through quick.
You really do. It's
probably know how to
expensive.
do it. You're
Well,
like,
really,
all right.
you know what's more expensive? The pull-ups.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
diapers.
The pull-ups
pull-ups,
are like,
those
yeah,
things
those
are
are like,
expensive.
those are like when they're in the middle, right?
Yeah, we went through,
It's like in the middle.
Transition
Oh.
period. So yeah, so no, we this is I think 6,000. We're collecting them at both locations,
Both of the office locations.
both office locations,
Which are?
and Bonita Springs, and that's right beside Rural King or on the other side of 41.
And we'll
from
put
the
a link
promenade.
below too, so people can.
And then in Fort Myers is just before the Cape Coral Bridge, off College Parkway,
Okay.
right beside that Publix.
And if people want to drop them off to the studio too, we'll collect
Yeah,
them
we
for you.
absolutely. We have
Yeah,
bring them in here, and
That's good.
you know,
That's good.
all that stuff is great because
Yeah.
it's very much needed. And the stuff. I mean, what does a box of Pampers cost these days? Depending on
Shoot,
how
when
big.
Depends on where you going. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna say when my daughter, which was not 10 years ago, needed them, I remember they were like $30-$40. So I can imagine that they're probably even more now, right?
Yeah, they could be depending on what level you're at. Newborn all the way up. Newborn is what? We have over 6 can diapers. My
Over
wife just
6
said.
can,
My
impressive.
bad.
Yeah.
That's a
So
lot.
we have a 15K goal. So we got a little bit to go, and but we'll get there. We usually get there and hit the mark, and then it's a good thing. So our patients love it too because they understand that they're not just they are there to get healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're also doing something for the community.
That's awesome.
And we
yeah.
leverage that in the office. So it all stays in the same pot. We're in the same community. We're in this all together.
Absolutely.
So we want to see everybody.
And you're
succeed.
always doing stuff for the community. We appreciate that. And 1 minute or less, tell the people why you should be the next state representative for District 82.
Well, I should be the next state representative of District 82, simply because I understand that my job is to be the voice of the people.
Okay.
Right? I'll filter things through 3 lenses: is faith, family, and the Constitution. My biblical values reign true. I don't hide them. I believe in the nuclear family. We need common sense politicians. I don't like to call myself a politician, but I guess I am going into politics, who will put the Constitution first, put people first, and not special interest. I understand the issues. I speak to you. I'll be accountable and transparent. I think transparency is a big thing. So when I go up and I'm casting my vote, if there's a questionable thing, I'll be right here in the community. I'll come back on the show. I'll answer the questions. And I think transparency is a big one too. We need people who are strong, that'll stand on their belief set, even when times get tough. That was the one thing, I can tell you this. I know I'm messing with my 1 minute here.
Yeah, we're good.
But that was the one thing that really solidified my respect for the future governor of Florida, Byron Donalds. In the state legislature, when the Stoneman Douglas happened, you say we're stick with the Constitution, but that also is in tough times, right? So that was a tragedy that transpired. And we had people on both sides of the aisle, our party, other party, who wanted things to change with regard to the Second Amendment. And Congressman Byron Donalds stood tall in the face of both of that. From both sides of the aisle. And I respected that tremendously because he stood on what he believed in, even when it was tough. Right. So
Yeah.
So
It's easy to make decisions when things are going your way and the easy way.
100%.
It's tough when you got to make the tough decisions.
That's it.
Obviously, right?
That's leadership, right?
That's leadership. Do it when it's when
And you've
times
been
are
around, you put the work in the community. So you definitely, I know you got my back, and I'm pretty sure you got Tim's backing. So we can say Studio 239 definitely supports you. And any way we can help you, we will.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Always.
Thank
a
you so
pleasure,
much for
Drew.
coming on.
Absolutely.
You're very
Appreciate
knowledgeable.
coming
I want to obviously bring you on a regular basis with
Yeah.
some health stuff, things like that. So
Health campaign,
jump
whatever
on
you need.
anything you need.
Be more than happy. Thank you
right.
all for having me.
Appreciate you.
don't
Thank
know.
you so much.
I don't know if you can stick around for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Our next guest. Waiting
Yes.
so
She's
patiently.
patiently waiting over there and getting ready to bring her on. We got a lot of cool little bottles of very essential stuff that Drew brought in. Thank you so much. So we're just getting ready, and Lauren's coming in, and
Hi guys.
Yeah, how are you?
I know poor
Yeah.
thing's still
Yeah.
recovering from her voice.
yeah, let's we'll make sure her mic is good and scoop that up, and yeah, right there.
All right, can you
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah, we got you. We got it.
I got the rasp going on. I'm
You
sorry.
got the
I was
raspy
like,
voice.
It's actually nice.
No, yeah.
It's
You can
good.
pull it off.
I'm about 10 days into this, and
Yeah.
It's just not coming
Not going
back.
away.
This is why I couldn't be here
I know last
Friday.
week, yeah.
But
Just make sure you talk in the mic a little bit, Lauren. You're good.
She's
You're
like, I'm gonna fall over.
too much partying, Lauren. You're at all the events
Oh,
and stuff,
gosh.
traveling, and you're
It's been a
busy.
lot.
You got to
It's
give
been a
your
lot.
voice a rest once in a while.
Somebody needs to put me in a cage lately.
Well, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Lauren
Thank
Rossi,
you for having me.
Our
local
pleasure.
real estate professional here
Luxury
in Collier
real
County.
estate,
Luxury
right?
real estate professional.
Yes,
And also the editor of Naples City Lifestyle Magazine.
that's correct. Yes.
That's a big deal.
It's something. I get to work with my best friend, Greg Dodge.
Greg
I know you've
Dodge.
had
Hey,
Greg
Greg is
on here
great, yeah.
before.
Got some slides.
He's the best. But
We love Greg
yeah,
Dodge, yeah.
It's been really amazing to be part of the magazine and really really be involved in the community. It's changed my life, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely. I was talking about that with someone, like, what did we do before the city lifestyle events? Because he's just brought a whole new perspective and different type of people at these events, and one event after another is just top notch and first class. In 3 years, city
Yeah,
lifestyle's
it's
been around
been
roughly 3 years.
So the magazine itself has been around, I think, since 2018. And Greg took over about 3 years
Greg,
ago.
yeah,
So
3 years.
it was a failing publication prior, and then Greg stepped in. Who, he was brand new to the community, and
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody network like this man. He's just incredible.
And I'm going to tag him here too. But the common word I hear when people discuss Greg Dodge, the connector.
He's the connector.
He's the connect. He's the
He
plug.
is.
He gets everyone connected, and he's just in 3 years he's just absolutely knocked it out of the park with the magazine and the events. And how'd you get involved with Greg?
So I've done a lot of things in my life as far as careers and businesses. And so I had an active wear line that I had started with my brother. And so I approached Greg. I said, listen, I have this idea for an event. I wanted to call it a wellness triathlon. So it's a walk, yoga, and meditation on the beach. So I sat on this idea for probably like 2-3 years. I don't know why. I was like, I want to do this. I want to do something with the community. I want to do something health focused because, as we know, a lot of our events are also, eating and drinking focused. So I came to Greg with this idea. I messaged him on Instagram, and he goes, all right, let's meet. And so we met up, and in 5 minutes, Greg had put together all the people in place to get this event going. And again, I sat on this idea for a couple of years. So 2 weeks later, we put on our first wellness triathlon. And it's been a monthly thing ever since. We're going on 3 years of doing this event monthly in July.
Wow.
So that was my first dip into city lifestyle.
Yeah, and now you're the editor.
And now I'm the editor.
Now, how much time does it usually take to go through the editing process? Is it like a constant thing? Stories pop up, you edit them as you can, and then
pretty
at
much.
the end of the day, you kind of can knock it out and send it off.
Yeah, so I would say that's probably the process for the most part. We've got strict deadlines. We're a corporate franchise, so we have to abide by whatever our deadlines are. That being said, people don't always like to turn in things in a timely manner.
Yeah, so you got to kind of be on people, right? Like, hello.
Yeah. So I kind of get stuck at the 11th hour, up at 4 a.m. trying to get the magazine done. But it's such a passion project. I love it so much.
I could tell it comes across. Yeah, and you guys make a perfect team too.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And we got some more slides of city lifestyle. I just wanted to kind of
let's
bring up
bring
because
those up.
you got the women's issue.
Yes.
Launching officially, right? Thursday at it
was a Ascent at Metropolitan.
Yep. Great place.
Is this the one?
That's the
That's
one.
the ladies issue.
So who are the ladies on there, Lauren?
So we've got Alexis. She's an esthetician. Tatiana. She's Mrs. Florida America. Kathy, who is she's a doctor here in town. Tony, who owns,
Tony on.
yes, she was
Tony
here
Jones,
a few days ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Torch Hot Yoga.
Yep.
Then you've got Erin and her mom, who own Rouse,
Okay.
The fashion clothing store on Fifth Avenue. Kara, and I'm sorry, the woman, her name is escaping me right now.
It's hard to see too on this.
Yeah.
Close up, yeah.
But we've got an amazing group of women on this cover, and truly, every issue I find some kind of inspiring story.
Course.
Yeah,
it's great. All that different stuff.
And then
there's Erin.
Yeah. And I was going through that this morning, and photography by Samantha Bloom.
Yes.
I didn't know Samantha does.
We love Sam.
We love
Yeah,
Sam.
Sammy.
Yeah.
We love big shout out to Sammy Bloom.
Sammy Bloom, we love you.
Yeah, she's awesome, man. She's awesome.
Got a heck of a
good
team
friend
there.
of ours, good friend of the show, all that stuff. So yeah, she's a ball of energy.
Yeah,
she
does a
is.
lot.
She's involved with a lot
She does
too.
a lot. She's everywhere.
Oh my goodness, I just adore her.
Yeah.
Look at you
And
guys.
that's from they keep changing the names of the place, but I guess the mini bar / the district / the alley. We had the 239 Live podcast, Naples City Lifestyle, Kentucky Derby, which was for a great cause as well.
Yes.
So I had some fun out there.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about to go back. I'll bring it back up here, but tell us a little bit about you do real estate professional.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about how that's going. I mean, right now I know I do real estate as well. Kind of seeing a little bit of a change in market from a seller's market to a buyer's market.
Sure.
So it's kind of like in a little bit of a slowdown. But what's your perspective so far on real estate?
So
up to this year,
real estate's my real job. The magazine's a passion project, which I obviously love and adore so much. But real estate is what I live and breathe for.
Right.
The market right now. I think this is a fantastic opportunity for buyers. We're looking at a lot of inventory. You've got your choice right now. There's so much negotiating power when there's a lot of inventory on the market, right? And people, I think there's been a little bit of a standoff between buyers and sellers as far as, sellers who bought in at these low interest rates are like, do I really need to sell? And buyers are like, well, I'm going to wait for interest rates to drop. Realistically speaking, when interest rates drop, competition is going to go up in the market, right? So now is really advantageous because you've got your pick, you've got the negotiating power. As soon as those interest rates drop, that's going to change.
And not to cut away from real estate, we'll stick with real estate. But Steve Higginbuckle asked Lauren what was the first ever cover story for her magazine. I'm guessing it's probably
it was Steve. It was Live Fest, and I love Steve. By the way, hi Steve.
We love Steve. Yeah.
And then we got Tina writes in there. She goes, "We need a veteran. We get so many people that come on. So I'm a veteran. So there we go. I took care of the veteran one for the month. Yeah.
And then we've had Lois on.
Yeah, we have Lois and we have this
Rick
month's
LaCastro
Veterans Month, Rick.
Too.
So yeah, we'll put them on as they come up. But yeah, we got them. Yeah, that's good question though. We'll keep the veterans going. Veteran on the cover of the magazine. Well, that was a ladies one. Not that we don't have lady veterans, but yeah, I think we'll probably. I know the people that support the veterans, they want the veterans on everything, which I do too. But yeah, it's a little bit of that. So,
our next issue is actually the gentleman's issue, and I'm sure somewhere in there. Hey, Steve.
Steve's like, I love you, Lauren. Yeah.
I'm sure that I'm sure we'll have somebody.
Patrick Dearborn's a veteran.
Yeah, Patrick is.
Yeah, Patrick's.
He's always in our magazine.
But yeah, she's talking about this month too.
No, but
or us having us on the board too.
Yeah. But the men's issue, the men's month next,
Yeah, so there's a lot of veterans.
Who's been on the cover the most?
Who's been on the cover the most? I would probably say Patrick, actually.
Patrick Dearborn.
Yeah, Patrick Dearborn. You can say his name today. You're good.
Unlimited, yeah. It's not Friday.
Patrick Dearborn.
Yeah, Patrick Dearborn.
Patrick Dearborn. But yeah, so in going back to the real estate, Naples, Florida, for the most part, we are kind of in a different situation. So we have a lot of cash buyers that come in. From my understanding right now, things in Port Royal, Royal Harbor, things like that, they're pretty hot. Big numbers. I think they just sold property there for $225 and then one for $85 million.
Yeah, so the ultra luxury market is on fire right now. I think that should be I think that should give a lot of confidence to us regular folks, if you will.
Yeah.
As far as, if these properties are moving, there's something to be said, because usually things like that would stick around for years,
Right.
potentially. So I think, in my opinion, that's a really great thing to see. That gives me a lot of confidence in our market here in Naples, and just kind of in where things are heading overall.
Yeah. And then the commission on the $225 million, that would be a nice one, wouldn't it, Lauren?
That's
Would
not
you
bad,
like to
right?
get a piece of
That
that?
would sure
How about
be
the
a nice
85?
one.
Would you even mess with the 85 million one?
No,
Would I even
Lauren
mess
only
with it?
does.
Yeah.
No, only
anything-
$100 million.
Yeah,
I'm
$100 million.
It's kind of like
just kidding.
it's kind of like I'm just kidding
You're
too.
getting
you know,
there.
it's like, it's like playing the lotto, right? What's the threshold?
Yeah.
You know, is the threshold like, because I know, like, I'm gonna go play this weekend because it's, it's up to 100 million, or 200 million or 300. When it gets close to $1 billion, like, I'm gonna go play. But what is that threshold?
Yeah,
You know?
you're right.
It's like I could win. Anything would be good. To be quite honest with you.
I mean, so in my career, I got started working in luxury under a pretty prominent real estate agent locally here. And so I've sold property. I've sold a trailer for $165K, and I've sold a $15 million penthouse. So,
Yeah.
I will work with anyone.
And you know what? Sometimes the more expensive one is sometimes even easier. I've seen that
Generally,
before.
yes.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Generally, yes.
Yeah.
Well, you're not dealing with the financing.
Yeah,
and
right. There's
lots of
to
contingencies.
it.
And
Yeah, I've had rentals that I think I made before like $500 or even less, and then those are a lot more of a headache than the $2 and $3 million
Right.
homes that I've had the opportunity to sell. So,
And how'd
yeah.
you get involved in real estate, Lauren?
I'm third generation
Okay.
realtor. So my grandpa was an architect and a real estate agent. My dad has done a lot of, he bought and sold a ton of property on Long Island. And then my mom and my stepdad are both realtors. They're actually on my team, which is really cool.
Nice.
So it's nice to, it's a bit of a family affair,
business.
you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny because in my 20s, I was like, there's no way. I started a marketing business when I was in my 20s. So that's what I did in a past life. So it was a natural next step. But back then I was like, there's no way I'm doing real estate. Like, all right, mom.
Yeah.
But it's funny, you say, I also said I was never moving to Florida, and here I am 13 years later.
Yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up on Long Island, New York.
Okay. Yeah, I've got some family up there myself, and yeah, Long Island's a nice place.
It's great. It's a nice place to visit, but I'm never going back.
I bet I would.
Are you pretty
I
much
love it
locked
here.
into Florida in general or Naples? You love it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to get a vacation home somewhere else, but this it's truly become home.
What's it like for young people like yourselves in Naples? Is it you find it difficult, or you find it getting a little bit better? Because I know when I first got here, I was obviously younger, 35 years ago. There wasn't a whole lot to do, but I find myself seeing like a lot more younger folks out
Yes.
there, and there's a lot more
Changed a
events
lot.
and networking just in the last 5 years.
Absolutely. And
It's-
Greg has honestly been a huge part
Huge
of that.
part of
with,
it. Absolutely.
city lifestyle. But when I came down here 13 years ago, I was 22, I think.
Okay.
I cried every day for the first 90 days. I was like, what did I do? Everybody's old.
Nowhere to go. Everything
nothing to
closes
do.
at 1 a.m.
And coming from New York, you're used to the city that never sleeps, right? But after that 90-day mark, something clicked. I made some friends, and you figure out the groove. It was a little bit of, it was a huge lifestyle adjustment, but at the end of the day, this has become home. I've just met the best people I could ever imagine. It's just a quality place to live.
Absolutely. What are some of your favorite restaurants? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot
Favorite
because
restaurants?
people want to know, where does Lauren Rossi like to go out to eat?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah. Name a couple. It doesn't have to be.
All right. Well, we love Del Mar, and Molto, if you're looking for Italians, probably one of my favorites. The French.
The French, of course. Yeah.
A lot on Fifth, just because it's easy,
Mhm.
because you could bop around a little bit. I'm trying to think of like a hidden gem somewhere. Trattoria Angela,
Okay.
really good.
Yeah.
Also,
Mhm.
nice, intimate, small Italian setting.
Yeah, they have good Italian food. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are pretty much the go-tos, I think.
Okay.
Hey, it was great. There's so many good places to eat
So many.
You know, and you can kind of you did a different one every day, and then by the time you were wrapped around, you'd be able to get it. But thank you so much for coming in.
Of course, thank you.
You're
for
awesome.
having
You're
me.
welcome
Appreciate
anytime.
you
Anytime,
guys.
yeah.
We
When your voice gets a little more stronger, but you did great. So
Yeah,
Still got that
appreciate you
rest.
making the time for us. I know you're busy.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, wait, thank you.
Yeah, she's it sounded good to me.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought you were like great. So yeah, it was awesome. Thank you so much
Making
for
raspy voices great
being
again.
on. I think we're like froze up, Patrick. So everybody, we got to go up here. We got to kind of point towards the camera, TV. So we are